Let's start it one more time. Listen. That's the audience that was just clapping when we had no audio a second ago. I want to tell that audience that we are so excited again to do this. I hope the audio's working this time, guys. That's my fault. So many things going on in the world of YouTube. And, you know, it's great because I've got an amazing panel here right now. And, you know, this panel, legitimately, this panel knows the problems I've had in the past 2 hours. YouTube changed a few things. So when you go live, you used to have a go live button. They enabled the auto start, which I never wanted the auto start to happen. So I had to start a new room. I want to say thank you to the audience that's here. I appreciate all of you guys moving from one room to the other. I also appreciate the amazing panel that's put up with my trials and tribulations I've had to go through tonight. But I do want to say this much, guys. We have an amazing show. We are going to be talking about industry leaks, rumors, games, guys. We are going to be discussing some games tonight. I want to hear the panel's opinion and the audience's opinion. But first, let me say this much. I want to say thank you to every single Mooch Maniac out there. You guys, it means the world to me that the channel is growing. It means the world to me that you guys are joining and becoming members of the channel. And I want to take this opportunity to thank each one of you guys individually, the Mooch Maniacs themselves, who is also a panel member tonight. We're going to introduce him in a second. But Sir X-Man, Masshole 1977, Midway Monster, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, Ice Queen Gaming, TrueWiddy, Wraith The Emperor, two of our newest Mooch Maniacs, by the way. Thank you very much. Major Mooch Maniacs, Shaun Slamka, Lucifer, Brian B., a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, Van, the Butcher, Van, by the way, the great Marty Bison, Rich Kreischer, Rated D Demonic, the great Biggie2316, Doggy Dog 420, and Percolator 9000, and of course an honorable mention, the great Wilmy Hood, who's done so much for the channel, a dear friend, and I appreciate that, Wilmy, and the forever Mooch Maniac, who will be remembered in our hearts from now until forever. Long shot 316. Guys, that being said, we have an amazing show. I've only said that 20 times, but it's the 21st time that sticks. That being said, we've got XBot 448, which I pray to God he's got his Connecticut State Bar license with him, because tonight the XBot will be the trial attorney for Redmond, Washington. XBot, how the hell are you doing tonight?
What is up, people? I could not wait to go live, man. Mooch, you figured everything out, and I gotta say, I think your crowd in the beginning, it's getting louder and clearer and just overall better, man. I'm proud of you. Your thumbnail, you got the crowd going crazy.
I got news for you. I can end the show right now. XBot has made my night. So, XBot, thank you so much for that, buddy.
Dude, you're killing it, man. Killing it.
Thank you, buddy. Well, you're a great, big part of the show, and I appreciate that. Shout out to Matt Bradley, who becomes our newest major Mooch Maniac. Matt, that means the world to me. Welcome to the family. And, buddy, you will be called out every week and recognized from here on out. That is fantastic, Matthew. Thank you very, very much. And then I've got my buddy here who was early, and he's not necessarily agreeing with Mooch on one topic tonight. We're going to get into it, but he might agree on another topic. That's the great Gaming Forte. Forte, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Yo, what is up, man? This is CrossFire. We are CrossFire, and the closer we get to Battletoads coming out, the more I'm getting very anxious to not hear him keep saying that every damn show.
That makes a lot.
Dude, I'm gonna do a 20-minute video, and I'm gonna tag you in it, man. You gotta watch it. It's just gonna say Battletoads for 20 minutes.
As long as you don't make a lyric out of it, we're good.
Let me say this much. I was going to say that's the two of us, Forte, but I think it's the thousands of us that have heard him say it every week. So.
Yeah, we're ready, though, man. It's CrossFire time. Let's go.
It really is.
Hold on real quick.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yo, shout out to Dalala Studios, who just recently followed me yesterday. People don't know, they are the developers behind Battletoads. Absolutely awesome studio. If you got to go check them out, give them a follow as well.
Well, that's awesome. You know what's funny? So someone just told me, they're like, and I do. I somehow have two streams going on. It's unbelievable. I don't even know how to end one stream. How would you
I did notice that. You got two streams. One got 22 viewers. The other one got over 100.
How do you get rid of the other one? Does anybody know how to do that?
Hey, I wouldn't try to mess with it right now. Just let this show.
Albert, I would say yes, Albert.
You know what? Listen, I'll just do me a favor, guys. If you don't mind, I'm going to go over to the other one real quick, and I'm just going to let them all know while we just take a few seconds here and let them know to go to the other one here. Just take 1 second here. Let me do this much. Let me introduce a man that needs very little introduction. He's on the show enough. You guys know him, and I can actually have them do a segment right now, and I can actually go on cruise control. That's the great Slow-Mo Backslap. Slow-Mo and Forte, by the way, are absolutely on fire. They know exactly how to do a show. Slow-Mo, welcome back to Crossfire, buddy, and how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I have been an agent of chaos today. I think I might continue to be an agent of chaos tonight on Crossfire. We'll see what happens.
I can hear it in his voice, man.
You're absolutely right in saying that we know how to podcast and know how to run a show because Slow-Mo always has technical difficulties every time he starts to stream.
I have gone live 5 times. I've had technical difficulties 2 times. Two times.
Oh, so we're batting 60%.
Forte uses StreamYard, so he uses easy mode, so I don't want to hear it.
Yo, anybody got the theme song for The Odd Couple? We should play that in the background as they're talking, man.
That's the second time I've heard that. That's the second time I've heard that.
Oh, no. I didn't say sing it, brother.
Please don't do that.
I got to be honest with you. So this is interesting. Maybe this is not a bad thing having 2 streams running at once. I don't know what's going on, but I got news for you. It's very interesting, guys. If you are here and you're just kind of tuning in, there's a lot of people saying, am I in the right one? You're definitely in the right one. This is the room right here. It's the one with over 230 now watching. Please do tweet it out, guys. I will try and dismantle the other one, but I think Forte had the best advice. Leave it alone, Mooch. He's like,
yeah, don't
leave it alone.
Don't mess with it in the middle of a show. You might not have a show at the end.
I completely agree with you. So I'm going to go ahead and take the great Gaming Forte's advice there, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and go on to our next special guest here. He's been reaching out to me. We've been talking a lot, and I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind finally sitting down and playing some Gears with this gentleman. You know him on next podcast. It's Crispy Bob. Crispy, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Oh, it's good to be here, Mooch. What's up, this Crossfire chat? Let's go, baby. We got some great topics.
I appreciate that. The great Sin Vendetta here. He says, Battletoads. He's just as excited as you are. And, of course, my New York, the Ashen Luca is here. She says, of course, Slow-Mo and Forte are on here. 30 podcasts a week. Hello to my boo, though. My Italian M&M. That's right. She's talking about me. Luca, it's great to have you. I really appreciate you being here. And I believe I may have missed one up ahead here. Doggy Dog says, the super chat's working. Pass it on. Doggy Dog, thank you so much for that super chat, buddy. It means the world to me.
Y'all don't mind me for a moment. I'm gonna go trip her up with a toothpick real quick. So she out here talking trash.
Come on now. You know what it is, Luca? I just think it's a great dynamic between Forte and Slow-Mo, and I'm glad that they teamed up to do what they're doing on videos, podcasts, reactions, and live streams, because when they do it, honestly, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I don't think I am. It's extremely entertaining how they play off each other, and it's a talent. It is a damn talent. It is awesome. So it's great to have them both here tonight. And then I've got my buddy here. He's in a little bit of pain, he said, but he's here anyways. He's a trooper. Sir X-Man, who's usually in the chat and blowing things up. He's going to be here on the airwaves. Sir X-Man, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm all right. Just fighting.
Listen, you got a lot of fight in you, Sir X-Man, so we want to hear as loud as you can get, okay? We're going to need a little anger.
It don't sound like it. It sounds like the fight's over for him. He about to kick the bucket. Are you okay, man?
Oh, Slow-Mo, why you got to start with me today, man?
Yeah, I'm
why?
just saying, man. Look, I got extra Red Bull over here if you want one. I can.
I got my Mountain Dew, bro. I just haven't started drinking it yet. I'm good.
No blueberry moonshine, no. No, none of that.
I only get drunk when I play video games, bro. I don't get drunk when I podcast. I ain't that crazy.
Let me say this.
And I got one more thing to say real quick, Mooch. And I said it before. Your last podcast a while ago. YouTube sucks. YouTube sucks.
You did say this. And I can't stand when they do it. And they always do it on a Mooch Friday, right? It's always on a Friday. I don't know what the deal is with them. Shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, a.k.a. Brap. He says, woo! Slow-Mo and Forte, my Brap brethren in the Crossfire house. Mooch, hurry up and hop on Warzone. Well, there you go, folks. And then one typical Latino says, crap gamer curse real? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Crap will be here very soon. We were waiting for him to... He's also having a couple of technical difficulties with his PC.
Crap gamer review.
He'll be here soon enough.
Check out my channel.
That's great. I love it, guys.
I'm giving him payback, dude, for all the time.
That is true when he says, give it to Luca. Absolutely. Yeah. Guys, So listen, and maybe I'm the only one here. I got a chance to play some of the Marvel's Avengers beta. That's this week is on PlayStation. Then I believe it opens up for Xbox next week and PC if you've pre-ordered. The open beta for everybody to play, I believe, is, the end of the month. So with that being said, I do want to quickly go over a few things here. I think this game has tremendous potential. I really do. I think the game can be, a lot of people are saying it's Avengers with a Destiny twist. But the way that I've noticed it so far is it's more of a casual Destiny. It's not that hardcore Destiny. It's not like Gaming Forte, Slow-Mo, Xbot that are out there and they are literally the hard grind, that slow grind that Destiny has where you have to go and go and go just to go up 100 light level, or I'm dating myself power level now. Okay, this is going to be a little bit quicker. I think these are going to be a little bit easier. It is a bit of button mashing to a certain extent. But I want to, and I'm going to go to Forte here in a second. Omega /Buster says, those Halo Infinite graphics are affecting Sir X-Man. X-Man, apparently 343 is affecting your well-being, according to Omega. And Valentin, thank you so much for the super chat, says, what's up, dudes? What's up, Valentin? I really appreciate you being here. Guys, do tweet it out. Hit the like button. Like I said, we have 2 Crossfire streams going on at the same time. I don't know why. I have no idea. I'm hoping next week this is a non-issue. But right now, it's an issue.
You're going to roll with it now.
They thought your show was so important, you needed 2 streams.
I had to have 2 streams. So we're going to have to figure out how the hell I'm going to be able to do this in the editing studio later.
So
but
nice,
nonetheless,
they stream it twice.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do want to go to Forte. Forte, listen, you said you haven't recently played the beta as of the past 24 hours. I get that. But you have played Marvel Avengers, and I just want to get your take on when you did play and what you think some of the positives and maybe what some of the future negatives are going to be when it comes to this game.
So for me, the game, when I played it, and this was a long time ago, we were talking about probably pre-built alpha when they just basically had
they were all stick figures.
No, they weren't that bad. But no, it was basically the bridge section that everybody got a chance to see like a long time ago. That was the demo they were really shopping around to everybody to show off. And you got a chance to play with all of the Avengers in that. I know in this demo, you don't play with some of the key main characters, but you do get to play with some of them. Mm-hmm. For me, the biggest thing for the game was how it felt. Certain parts of it felt really, really good, but I just didn't feel any weight to the characters that when I was playing the game. Now, that's something I don't know if they fixed. I don't know if that's something that is not apparent in this demo or this beta when they actually put it out. Because let's be for real, this isn't a beta. This is a demo. This is literally a demo of the game. Mm-hmm. But because the game literally comes out in like less than a month. So let's be for real about that. But but overall, I was excited to play it. It was really, really fun. The biggest thing for me is if you got people to play this game with, it's going to probably be even greater. I just don't know what it's going to be like on a single player narrative side when it comes to you going through it by yourself. I don't know. Does the demo have any of that type of stuff? And I'm not going to call this a beta because it's a demo. But does this demo have any instance of anything single player that you can do, or is it all basically just based around the multiplayer stuff?
No,
you can do a single player or multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do both. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to give the game a try. I do have the beta installed. I just wanted to jump into Horizon Zero Dawn today because I was super excited to see what that looks like on PC. So later today, I'm definitely going to be jumping in and doing some impressions and stuff on how I feel about the game based on what I saw before. But the biggest thing for me is always just come back to, is this game going to be just as fun by yourself? Or is it going to be made, like we said, like how Slow-Mo and how you said last week, you could pretty much make any game fun if you're playing it with your friends. And the fact that
on the whole single player aspect, they did a couple, I think they're called war rooms, where they did streams on this. Well, in one of them, they said how, when it comes down to it, if you're by yourself, they have AI.
They have AI. It's basically Halo 3, basically.
Well, they're claiming it's better than that, so we'll see.
Well, I mean, Halo 3 had pretty decent AI when you were running around with a couple other people.
Leaving. I'm out of here.
Man,
It was
Halo
decent.
3
I said
is a
decent. I didn't
legendary
say it was
game,
great.
so-
I didn't say it was great.
I
I
like
just said
Halo
it was
3.
decent.
Come on.
Halo 3 had decent AI. I mean, especially you played on the higher difficulties. If you played on those lower difficulties like most people do, you probably thought it was trash. But
Forte, when you play it,
about it,
let me know
is
if it feels like when you play it, let me know if it feels like Marvel, a grown-up version of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
But that's another
what I wanna
thing.
know.
And honestly, that's the biggest the contraction that I'm thinking of, because that's why I really want to hear what Slow-Mo has to say, because I don't know if you played the beta yet. I don't even know if you played this game at all yet. But
Curious,
I know Slow-Mo has played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on Switch, and I know he's played the older games too, and I played the older games too. And the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is how is that contrast in how they actually build out the game, and how does it feel? Because for me, this just feels it felt like
they made it more modern.
That's
Well,
all. That's
game.
exactly what it felt like. And to me, I just want to see how all that stuff ties itself together. Like I said, when I played it, it was fun. It was cool to run around with Hulk and smash buildings and throw people into cars and stuff. It was pretty cool. But overall, how is the staying power of this game going to be? Because it is a games as service. They are going to be rolling things out over the course of time. And how is that going to stand up with all of these other games coming out this holiday? Because the one thing I will tell you, and everybody, and Destiny being one of those games is like that, people fall off these games, and if they fall off, are they going to come back? And is there going to be enough to bring people back? Now, I know one of our conversations in this podcast is going to be about some of the stuff that Sony has exclusive. I don't think Sony's going to have a problem with that, because I think once that happens, everybody's going to come back that's on PlayStation and want to reinvigorate and play the game again. But what about the other platforms? Being an Xbox player, being a PC player,
let me do this.
What's going to bring you in on that conversation?
First of all, let me introduce Crap Gamer. Crap Gamer's here, everybody. The Crap Gamer Reviews is here. So, Crap, welcome to the show, buddy. Crap,
What's up?
Good to have you here.
What's up?
So, my question is good, Crap. We're getting into Marvel's Avengers, and I want to ask Forte's one of the only ones that really played the game. I don't know, Slow-Mo, did you get a chance to play it all? I'm not sure
I haven't played it yet. I see. Here's the thing: is that this closed beta, you gotta pre-order it on PS4, and I'm eventually going to get it on PS4. I just don't know whether I'm going to get it at launch, or I'm just going to wait until Spider-Man comes out next year.
Go to a GameStop.
The game runs at 30 frames per second right now, so like I would rather not play it in slow motion. My name is Slow-Mo, but I don't like playing my games that slow. So what I'm going to do is probably get it on PC, and then when Spider-Man comes out next year, they'll be on PS5. Likely will have at least a performance mode to play at 60 frames per second, and then I'll get it then. So I haven't played it yet. I did watch a couple of people playing it. And I looked at some of the menus, some of the abilities to upgrade your character, put on loot, stuff like that. It is more in depth than Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 in that. I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is, although a good game on Switch, it's still a little dated as far as combat goes. It didn't really upgrade or modernize anything from what you remembered from original Xbox and 360 or PlayStation, whatever, the old school.
And I heard those older versions were better too. I played them both, the older version.
Better.
Okay,
so I would say for its time, it was great for its time. I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is better than those games, but due to the fact that I played it in 2019 or 28, whenever I played it, it's not as great. So in direct comparison to those games, yes, it is better. But because of where we are now, they should have did more with it. But maybe they couldn't because it's on the Switch. But anyway. What I would say is that when it comes to earlier footage compared to what I've seen so far, they fixed some of the animations. They fixed some of the faces. Like, Black Widow had a very handsome face when they first showed the game. and now she looks more like the Black Widow that you would expect her to look. So they fixed some things with that. I think the game's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun. Most people that I know that play this said it's fun to play.
It is fun, and I want to take a step back, Slow-Mo, and let people kind of understand where I'm coming from. The game is definitely special in the sense that you get to be the Avengers. I got to say, so, and guys, quote me, I think you guys were just saying it a few moments ago. What was the game that came out on Switch a year ago? Was that Marvel Ultimate?
Ultimate Alliance
3, right? Yeah, so that game to me, and I know a lot of you guys, I'm going to have to duck because you guys are going to throw a shoe at me here, but like that game was really boring. For me, I didn't care for it that much.
I mean, it's on the Switch.
Right. It was on the Switch, and it just didn't have that appeal. What I love about this is that it has that loot finding ability, that loot gathering, right? Ranking up. The game isn't really over yet. There's going to be more content coming. You just heard Slow-Mo say he's going to wait a full year till the content he's waiting for drops, and then he's going to join. No matter
No. I'm going to get it on PC day one. I'm also going to double dip. I'm going to double dip on PlayStation and get it on the PS5 when Spider-Man comes out.
I ain't double dipping on nothing unless it's crossplay.
Crystal Dynamics was hoping you would do that, brother.
Unless it's crossplay or unless it's not crossplay, but cross save. I'm not double dipping.
Hey, Xbox, I would triple dip if Xbox wanted to pony up some money and actually get some exclusive on their side. I would
Slow-Mo, if you
about that, man, they're supplying their own ecosystem. Yo, if I can real quick, just when it comes to this game, I watched the 2 war rooms and I started seeing exactly what this game was about. And I started thinking to myself, why are people hating on this game so much? All right. This was before the Spider-Man announcement. Everybody, this is stunt double Avengers. I'm not going to buy this garbage and everything like that. Right. And I'm like, it seems like they're putting a lot of what Destiny players would call end game content in there. Even if there is no grind, there's multiple modes to play, to go in with your friends, have fun and stuff like that. I was like, this looks pretty interesting. And then all of a sudden, when the announcement for Spider-Man comes out, there are huge Avenger fans now, Avenger game fans that I didn't even see exist before, which is really, really odd to me because I know a couple of the people I talked to were calling it stunt double Avengers. And then all of a sudden, after that announcement, I was going to buy it day one anyway. Oh, no, hell no. That looks like a great game. I'm like, dude, really?
That's true. That people were doing
very
that.
True. Slow-Mo was getting upset because he was like, "Man, people gonna think that I'm frauding because I want to play this game when I always wanted to play it. Versus now they just coming out say they wanted to play it."
Right. I was all by my lonesome talking about playing this game.
Well,
people you like all these mid games, Slow-Mo. I knew like 5 people who wanted to play the game. Now all of a sudden,
but you can ask Slow-Mo. You can ask Forte. Forte, you know this from the business you're in, right? Sometimes there's just the perfect storm. And what I mean by that is this game is releasing perfect timing. There's nothing else coming until next generation. This is the biggest game right between now and next gen consoles, probably for the most part, right? Or fill me in if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. I think the biggest thing that really excited me about the game that made me want to play it is just how big and how granular they have with the scope of all the stuff that you can do. Now, I don't know how deep that goes past launch because everything that they talked about in the different war rooms does sound very enticing, but I always go back to what's going to happen. Like Xbox, you talked about all the stuff you can do with your friends and stuff. How much of this game is going to be tied to you playing with your friends versus playing it by yourself? Because
they said you can play by yourself with NPCs,
but are you going to want to? So, that's the thing. There's a bunch of games out there that you definitely like. Ghost Recon, God bless that game's heart, is good. It's decent if you play it by yourself, but it's a whole different game when you're playing it with your friends. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different experience. I mean, look, even Destiny, as much as I love it, is a whole different experience where you're playing it with your friends, but it's one of those games that you could definitely go in and play by yourself. And it's just, it stands the test of time. Is Marvel going to be that type of game? Is that going to be a game that everybody is going to want to go back into every other week for whatever they're going to do? Is there going to be that carrot on the stick?
Let me answer
that's going to make you want to come back and forth.
You kind of gave me the great volleyball up. Let me spike that real quick. I'm going to say a quick shout out to Marty Bison in Super Chat. He says, "What's up, crew? New Marvel game, great. Feel fun for the most part, and great for EDM Gamer who has joined us. Welcome to the family, buddy. EDM Gamer is now Mooch Maniac. I truly appreciate that. And I got to give a quick shout out here. Where is it? Right here. Bats 130. I was waiting for it. He goes, Mooch with 2 very angry faces. You're bugging out. No way was that game boring. No, Matt, listen, Bats, I got to tell you, I'm not taking that away from you. I just felt like because it was on the handheld and that's how I decided to play that game, I didn't have a tremendously great experience. And I wanted that from Marvel. I wanted a Marvel game, and I've been kind of jonesing for that ever since that game came out. This is scratching that itch. But I do want to say, to Forte's point when he says, well, how do we know if it's going to keep people enthralled and keep people into the game? Here's the thing, and I was talking to Crap about this before we went live, and I said to him, I talked to him on Twitter, and I said, buddy, this game's got your name written all over it. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, the thing about it is this. Crap is, and the Crap, I'm just using you as an example. You're very vocal about this. He's not a big fan of doing the long looter shooters Destiny stuff where he's got to grind for no joke 30 days to go up 50 light level as he approaches the end of the cap. This is something where you get on with friends and you play as a team. And
sort of like Thieves, right?
Yes, but with shit to do. And like, you know what I mean?
I get you.
It's like, you know, and I don't mean that. I don't get me wrong.
That was one of the things I liked about. Yeah, that was one of the things I liked about that game was that you didn't have to play it constantly.
You don't have
and
to.
You can still just hop. Yeah, you can just hop in with your friends and just have a good time with it. So I understood that.
And that's what I'm saying. So maybe now you can get some of you. I have a lot of casual friends, or not, or just friends that game, but they don't want to play Destiny because it's just too time consuming for them. This is probably that halfway point. And let me take it one step further, Forte. This is Marvel. Like everything in the listen, they are making Marvel movies right now with characters we don't care about. We don't even care. Those are the comics we were like, nah, not doing those 150 episodes, not buying those comics. They're making it, they slap the Marvel name on it, we're in. Everybody's lined up. There's people tenting out. Well, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I got to be honest with you. Like the Black Widow movie that's coming out, I wouldn't necessarily say that I couldn't wait for that one.
No.
I've been right. It is true.
That movie should have came out a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, but they're making certain movies with right now. You put Marvel on something, it just sells. You have to admit, it sells like crazy. So my point is now you're able to get some folks that were like, I've been wanting to do some sort of looter shooter, right? But I don't want something as time consuming and as in depth as Destiny. This is your game. I think this may be something that really hits that. I'm using the word casual audience, but I'm not using the term properly. I don't mean casuals in the Call of Duty or the Fortnite player. I mean the
casual looter guy.
Right. Which the Diablo player. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Diablo, like there's a lot.
Destiny 2 year one people.
Well, because I mean, there's a lot of people that'll play through Diablo once and they're good. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, and then you're done with it. Not everybody goes and plays every character 6, 7, 8 times. There is a community for that. There's a community for everything. But I mean, right? This is something that reaches that. I mean, that's my point when I get to that. TrueWiddy, shout out to TrueWiddy in the chat. He says, "Did you guys see Grace Randolph tweet on Spider-Man?" I did not. So pardon me on that one. Sir X-Man is on the show. He's in the chat. He says, I'll be picking up Avengers up a little bit later, but I gotta have my Tony Hawk first. You're such he's such a traditionalist, Sir X-Man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
No, so the biggest thing for me, and I agree with you, and it's the thing, I think this game is gonna probably sell over 10 million. That's, I think, just because Marvel's on the name of it.
That's exactly right.
And then you have a platform that has Spider-Man exclusive to it, and it's going to boost the sales even more after that character comes out on the PlayStation platform.
And it's multi-plat.
And it's a multi-plat.
Right.
But my whole sticking point on this isn't the fact that I don't think it's going to sell, because I think it's going to sell amazing. I just don't know what the longevity of this game is going to be. Based on, because think about it, you got games like Warzone. People play Warzone a lot because you don't ever feel left behind, because every time you start a new match, everybody starts at zero. Right. The people don't want to play Destiny and come back into that, because like you said, the grind to get back to where you need to get to is tremendous. Now imagine a Marvel. Trust me, there will be progression in Marvel, and if people don't consistently stay on top of the stuff they're doing in the game, sooner or later you will get left behind. There will be things that will be in the
speed passes for microtransactions.
Well, they'll do something, but that's the whole thing I'm talking about, because being like Slow-Mo even knows this. Division isn't the most taxing game, but if you don't stay up on Division, it kind of becomes a chore to get caught up to everybody else. And that's the thing about these games as services. I also think Halo's going to be another one of those games with the multiplayer being the way that it is, being a free-to-play multiplayer. There's going to be things that they're going to give people throughout seasons, because I do think Halo's going to have seasons in them where they build it out. There's going to be things that people have that other people don't have. And it's going to be like, oh, I have to do all this to get to that point.
Well,
so
I disagree with
Halo.
I disagree with Halo because I
that
think
game's free to
it's a
play.
different
So
story
it's
with
easy
that
to
game.
get. Well, that game's free to play.
I disagree with Halo because I think anything that they're going to be giving you through seasons and stuff, all that stuff's going to be cosmetics. It's not going to be like,
well, no, I'm just looking
I gotta
at the stuff that
grind out.
people are going to want.
I got to grind out to get this gun. I got to grind out.
There was rumors they're going to do a battle pass on Halo.
No, they're going to do a battle pass on Halo, and they're going to give you. Like they do that right now in like games like Warzone, where Warzone.
Yeah, but
has
I mean, like Fortnite has
guns.
a battle pass, and Fortnite's battle pass is just skins and cosmetics. You just get more skins and cosmetics, and the more you play, it's not.
But guys, isn't Avengers a totally different game than a battle royale?
Yes,
it's not a battle royale.
No. It's more just talking. Yeah, we're just talking.
It's like a mini MMO, but
we're just talking about we're just talking about the experience of people coming and going into the game, and that's the only thing for me that
everyone's
I feel like
still going to be going against what the storyline is based for.
Yes,
so
exactly.
it's just like Avengers. So it really won't matter in that aspect of it. If your friend wants to come in and he ain't got that much, you can help protect him until he gets.
Well, you know what? That's a good point, because the biggest thing that this game doesn't have any type of player versus player mode in it. It
doesn't have a PC.
It's all versus the PC, all versus NPCs and stuff. So that definitely is in its point. But that's also kind of a little bit of the downside to it, because it doesn't have anything to keep certain people interested in the game once they're done doing all the main stuff in the game. Like, there is only so much of the story you can do. There's only so much of the different strikes or whatever, some of the harm rooms and stuff.
There's only so many Iron Man you can have on one.
There's only so much you can do until people feel like.
Yeah, but how much does Iron Man have? I mean, seriously, like.
I see
Iron Man. I mean, it would intrigue people to be able to go against the NPCs, not PvP, but NPCs with some serious Iron Man armor.
But the one thing we all know,
did that in Titanfall. The Titanfall had a mode like that, the Tower Defense.
Well, the biggest thing,
you and a whole bunch of groups.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're talking old school, bro. Like we're more into multiplayer than we ever have been. So I gotta say, that at this point, what they're doing with this game is not illogical, especially with the Spider-Man deal.
Exactly.
I get it. I really do. But if Square Enix really wanted to make more money, why wouldn't you put an exclusive character on Xbox like the old Soul Calibur?
Well, Crispy, the answer, Crispy's got it. No, his answer is simple. It's Microsoft didn't want to pay, or they didn't.
Well, I don't think this had anything.
I'm talking about Square Enix.
Well, I don't think Square had anything to do with this.
Square had nothing to do with it.
I don't think Square had nothing to do with this. I don't think
Dynamics and Marvel, like they missed a golden opportunity here, because when it comes to the Avengers, and I grew up reading comic books. My dad was a comic book collector. I was able to read them all. There are so many Avengers, so many characters that came in as an Avenger, stayed there for a while and came out and stuff like that. They miss an opportunity to spotlight with each platform that this game is coming out on, a different character for each platform, kind of like what they did with Soul Calibur. I think they missed a golden opportunity here.
I stole his cookie. That's what he's saying.
What happened?
I stole your cookie.
Dude, you went into my brain, pulled out my thought, and said, "This is mine." Like, no, that was absolute genius. And I think they missed a golden opportunity here to do something like that all the way around the board. And I think
I don't think they missed the opportunity at all. I think they got the bag up front from Sony.
Exactly.
They got paid up front, so it's whatever they thought they were going to get.
A lot.
We don't know the number, but whatever it was enough for them to make Spider-Man exclusive to that platform. So it had to have been what the number they were looking for.
Slow-mo, on that note, and this is another thing, I actually find this as the more interesting story here. Because what you just said, shitload of money just went to Crystal Dynamics when it came to this, Sony and Marvel. The funny thing was how Crystal Dynamics came out on social media and kind of tried to throw Marvel and Sony under the bus about that. They're like, we have nothing to do with this.
No, they're right. No, they're right.
They're the developer.
But
they're right.
They're not the publisher.
Of money too, though.
No. They're
the
right.
publisher makes those decisions. That's Square Enix.
They got a shitload of money too, though.
Listen, Square Enix. Okay, so Crystal Dynamics, yes, they're the publisher of the game. Square Enix is the publisher. Marvel and Sony are the reason that this happened the way it did because of the deals they had in the background already. Because people keep forgetting that yes, Sony does have some rights.
Marvel wants to keep Spider-Man in the MCU.
They want to keep Marvel in the MCU. So trust me, Marvel. When this game was announced, Marvel themselves wanted to have Spider-Man in this game. Yeah. Who do they have to go to have that conversation with? Even though they don't have the rights to the game in video games, they probably have some type of slight deal where they can produce Spider-Man games in the short term. And guess what? Marvel was like, we got to go talk to Sony and make sure they want to do this. Yeah. Sony was like, oh yeah, that's 100% fine. We just don't want it on Xbox. And they were like, Marvel was like, okay. They went to Crystal Dynamic and they went to Square Enix and said, this is what we need to do. Yep. And Sony and them came up with a price to give them to make up the difference for the missing sales.
And if I was Microsoft,
go ahead, Sir Max.
Real quick.
Microsoft couldn't do anything about that.
No. Let me finish. If I was Microsoft and I bought WB, I'd be like, you will never have a Batman. You would let us get a Spider-Man.
Oh, I agree with that.
Never have a Batman.
Well, we'll get into that. The WB deal didn't include any IP, but nonetheless, hold on, let me just do some of the super chats. Relic, he says, I'm having a few drinks listening to Crossfire. It doesn't get any better than this. Awesome cast tonight. Love you all. Relic, love you back, buddy. Appreciate that. And then I've got a couple of super chats that came through here. The great Marty Bison says, man, I miss Warzone. No kidding. Tell me about it. And TrueWiddy's here. He says, she said Sony owns full... he said Sony owns full rights to Spider-Man. Even comics go through Sony for approval.
That's not true.
Yeah, I didn't think that was true.
That is 1,000% false.
I don't know
especially when it comes to the comics.
Go back and check that out again.
Well, let me just finish this super chat. He says she said that's why Spider-Man PS4 was exclusive. Same for Avengers. TrueWiddy, I'm not sure. And don't get me wrong, I don't pretend to know exactly every legal aspect of where Spider-Man belongs.
Video game rights,
but I don't believe.
They have video game.
But you know what? I want to get back to this. A lot of people keep saying, well, Microsoft should have done this. Microsoft should have. This is one of those situations where I don't think Microsoft really, first of all, and crap, I know you're laughing because this is not what Microsoft really wants to do. Yeah, they don't want to do this. They have no intentions of doing that. And I don't think that this deal going down like somebody didn't pick up the phone.
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil paid the price to get Spider-Man on PlayStation himself, just because they're buddy like that,
That part. But Mooch,
Phil's like, hey, here's my wife. Here's the bedroom door's open. Go ahead. Go ahead. Not at all. Going in there. Going in.
No, but
come on.
But Mooch, what Xbox is trying to do, they are trying to be more kind of like self-reliant when it comes down to it. Like a lot of people talk about studio acquisitions and they kind of compare it to PlayStation and stuff like that. The reason why Xbox bought all those studios, the reason why each studio has multiple teams doing AA, AAA games and really trying to get things kind of like in the works and stuff is because they want to be more self-reliant than anything. They don't want to deal with signing exclusive content to the platform and all that good stuff. They want to be self-reliant a lot and deal a lot on the first party. Not saying that third party ain't going to come over and all that good stuff, but they want to focus on being more self-reliant, which of course with Game Pass, that's them fueling their Game Pass as well.
But who does that benefit, Xbox? Who does that benefit? Who is them deciding not to engage in that kind of marketing benefit?
But I'm saying that's their ideology behind it.
And all I'm saying is that ideology is stupid.
It don't work.
Like this is a business. They're punching you in the face, and you're just like, it's okay. I'm not going to punch back. I'm above this.
Yeah, this isn't a Rocky movie where you get to the 12th round after getting hit in the head for 11 rounds and then you win. It don't work like that.
Exactly. Like the other guys, like Mike Tyson, you're going to be out in the first round the way you're going. It's like they need to hit back. Look, go to Square Enix. Say, look, we would like a exclusive character. What about Black Panther? What about the Punisher? What about something?
They got to go to Marvel to get that though.
Look, make some phone calls. The deals that don't happen are the ones that never get started because you immediately go, well, that's probably not going to happen. So let's not do that. Like, you have to get the ball rolling. And then
Sony got a marketing deal with that game though.
What's your game?
Doesn't Sony have a marketing deal with Marvel? Marvel Avengers.
No.
They do have the marketing for the Marvel Avengers.
So if they have a marketing deal, how the heck do you think they're gonna get some exclusive character?
We don't know what's on the market.
This is part of the
not every marketing deal is exactly the same. We don't know what's detailed in that deal, whether they can't do anything with Xbox whatsoever. We don't know whether they can do that or not. All I'm saying is that you have to do something beyond every single time there is a superhero game or something coming out. You either don't have all the content or you don't get the game at all.
My whole thing is I've just going off of previous knowledge and experiences, how Sony dealt with their marketing deals. Pretty much every game that they did that for, there hasn't been a version on Xbox that you can promote, like in stores or anything. So like I always go back to Destiny. Like that game couldn't even be spoken of as an Xbox.
There's
game.
A difference between promoting something and having content. Those are two different things.
No, they're not. They're kind of the same.
How they're not different? How they're not the same. How are they not different?
Depends on the contract.
It depends on
exactly. Depends on the contract. One is content in the game. Other is you talking about the game. Those are two different things.
Slow-mo. There's
but
also
if they got
a
content in the game too, you don't think that's part of it?
There's also a difference between being a wimp and being a man, and step up and stop letting people stomp all over your ass.
That's it.
Phil needs to be a man. Phil needs to be a man and do what he needs to do to get his system on top the way it should be. I love Xbox, but I've never seen Xbox not do what they do.
Care, dude. They don't care.
Yeah,
man.
they used to make these kind of deals. I brought this up before with Soul Calibur, where every platform got an exclusive character for Soul Calibur
to draw them towards their console.
Yeah, you have to have something to draw people to your platform. You can't just be the basic box.
The money we
got the base game. New developers,
we don't have all the cool characters. We got everyone else.
Hold on, guys.
He's letting all his new developers stomp all over him instead of going down there and putting his foot down and say, "Get y'all, excuse my French, CrossFire, get your shit together."
They are damn sure the basic box. So that's a good analogy. Listen, why would he spend? Why would he spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on content like that when he could spend much less than that and put something out like Bleeding Edge 2 or Grounded 2, right? Passion projects. Those probably cost less.
Console exclusives that we saw at the game showcase as well. So what he's doing
though, but
those games are already funded though.
Listen. I don't think he's money hatting those games. I think what they're doing is going, hey, we'll give you guys a platform to come up and talk about your games, and then they're small developers. What Bloober Team. These are such small developers. They only do one or the other. Look at this Fall Guys game, right? They're a small developer, so they went with PlayStation first. That's going to be the next soccer cars, of course.
Right.
But it's like that game will probably eventually come to Xbox. They always do that. Like Bugsnax, people make fun of that game, but that game will eventually come to Xbox.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. Like Phil, they have Scorn, and but nobody's like, God damn, I got to get me that Xbox Series X to play Scorn.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking in absolutes, but Crap's kind of right.
Get me a Scorn. I got to get me a Series X to play that Medium.
The Medium.
It's like bullshit.
I want that game. Tell me why. But when is it coming out?
Well, shout out to TrueWiddy real quick. He says, I think
TrueWiddy was supposed to already be out. I don't know what's going on with that. They said this summer.
Yeah,
I think summer's almost over.
Yeah,
they said Battletoads 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I know, right?
That'll be coming.
So they're like, hey, let's just. Stealth,
we are
let's
in
just
a pandemic,
drop that.
So.
But I'm just rooting for Xbox for the game.
I'm more interested in the Medium than Bugsnax. So I think they kind of won that comparison.
Oh, absolutely. I hear that. TrueWiddy, real quick. I think he's also referring to, he must know, so now I understand what he meant by her all the time. He must know somebody who told him this. He says, I don't doubt her because she said she worked at Marvel. So TrueWiddy, absolutely. TrueWiddy comes back also, and he says, hence past tense. Great show, though, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you, TrueWiddy. Bounty Boom says, this is how you know one company is for the players and one isn't. Did Microsoft hold anything back from Minecraft is what I think he's trying to ask there.
No. Well, unfortunately,
they let Minecraft do whatever they want.
So it would have been in some people's eyes, it would have been on the wrong side to pull it from those other platforms.
Didn't Nintendo get exclusive
technically,
Minecraft
they kind of did that. And technically, Microsoft did that a little bit.
Yeah, they did. They got a Mario pack. They got a Mario pack.
Xbox got a Chief pack, and Nintendo got a Mario pack. I mean, they do that there too. You know what I mean? But
the
interesting thing is,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, trying to take the high road when Phil has done exclusives this generation. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider was a timed exclusive. They bought Dead Rising 3. Rise, Titanfall, they paid outright. I don't know how much money they probably paid for Titanfall. Probably one of their better. Probably. I love Titanfall 1 as well. That was probably a huge investment. The list goes on. Dead Rising 4, that was a year exclusive. They've done this before, so I don't understand what the deal. Like Phil doesn't want to get an exclusive character, but he'll get a game that used to be multi-plat for a year on your platform. Like it doesn't. His odd sort of morality doesn't make any kind of sense.
Well,
they technically
taking a Sony playbook. He was saying let's have these exclusives when there's a lull, there's nothing going on. Let's use these second party type deals, and let's.
Did he give Smash Brothers Master Chief?
You've
Didn't they give them
first party studios? You might as well invest in them rather than continue to invest in second party and third party exclusive year deals or something like that. And I think that's his thought process. I'm not saying it's right, but it makes a little bit of sense in my opinion.
I always thought what Microsoft did with Minecraft was a great thing when they did it when they did it to PlayStation. They basically told them, like, hey, if you're not going to allow us to have these features on your system, then we're just going to withhold that update, which was the Play Together update, which didn't give them the second part of Minecraft, which was all the texture packs and everything and the cross play and everything. They said, if you're not going to implement that, we're not going to give it to you. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, Sony finally allowed that to happen. So you actually can log into Xbox Live and everything through your PlayStation when it comes to Minecraft. But I think that was only because Sony started seeing some type of hit when it came to that game on their platform. And
it wasn't that game that did it. It was Fortnite.
No, Fortnite was the one that opened the door. But then I guess if you're going to open the door for Fortnite, you might as well open the door for Minecraft too.
Well, they had to open the door for everyone across the board because remember, Sean Layton lied and said, hey, if people want to do crossplay, they can just come talk to us. And that developer immediately called them out.
He came out and called them on the carpet.
He was like, yeah, we've been trying that for like 6 months. You guys.
What did they say? All we got to do is hit a button, right?
Yeah. That was almost.
Remember, they pushed that button and it accidentally came on crossplay for about 4 hours. And a lot of people knew that, and then they turned it right off.
Well, let me ask you guys
was Soccer Cars that did that.
Right?
Soccer
Cars.
It was sort of like when Phil was like, we'd really love to do a Sunset Overdrive 2, but the studio has to want to do it. And then Ted Price is like, we've been begging Microsoft to do that.
He's right.
Or like when Phil was like, Alan Wake 2, but Remedy would have to want to do it. And Remedy's like, we've been begging for years to do this. And then Phil's like,
well, that's the one thing.
Yeah, I get it.
They all do it.
Game.
Remedy,
that game's coming now, right? Like that game's coming now.
They may have
Battletoads.
No. Alan Wake
with CrossFire X. That's just saying.
I think that's what the whole DLC for Control with Alan Wake is going to be. That's going to basically just get people back into what Alan Wake is.
Forte, I'm glad you kind of segued into that.
It's probably going to be published by Epic.
What do you guys think about this though? There's that rumor out there, and I always say his name wrong. Is it Imar Khan?
Khan.
Yeah, I say his name wrong all the time, and I apologize for saying it wrong. I do. But he made a point to come out and say that PlayStation 5 is going to have a lot of jaw-dropping exclusive content with big third-party titles.
Shocking.
So they said if you think the Spider-Man thing shouldn't take anybody by any shock, because we just described to you how Sony has a relationship with Marvel, Spider-Man ownership on certain parts of that individual in the Marvel world.
Dude, the rumors go everywhere from Final Fantasy 16 to
GTA 6, I heard.
To GTA 6, the Batman game.
GTA has been rumored for a while that there's some type of exclusivity.
Well, not just that, but pardon me, Xbot, you're a big fan of doing this. I'm just gonna kind of pull the Superman 2 on you real quick at the end there, right? My point being is that if you remember, everybody made fun of PlayStation's big event in June, when they said, why are you starting this off with them telling us about having a deal with Rockstar? Well, now people are starting to speculate that deal goes a lot farther than what we heard about GTA 5.
Well, even if that deal goes a lot further, that beginning part was kind of garbage, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, but I mean, remember.
Let me answer real quick, man. That one game spanning across 3 generations, like, y'all,
okay. But you start a show like that, Xbot?
Huh?
That's not how you start a show if it's just for an in-game currency of a 10-year-old game.
Yeah, after seeing that and then seeing his response on that, that's the first thing I thought of, because the biggest thing that Rockstar and 2K, the one thing that Grand Theft Auto this generation taught them is the fact that no matter when it comes out on another platform, people will buy it, no matter what. So even if we do this massive deal and make it a year exclusive for PlayStation out of the box, when it does become available on other platforms after that, it's just going to sell like crazy all over again. And all the money they got in that exclusive deal from Sony to basically buffer them a little bit or whatever they were going to do, which they technically really don't need, they're just going to make all that back tenfold on the second half of it. So
I've got a question for everybody.
This for them is a great move. I mean, it's smart because they're going to sell Grand Theft Auto no matter what.
Right.
Question for everybody, real quick. It's around the same way. Should we call Grand Theft Auto the game of the generation? Because it's still. Well,
the game didn't come out this generation. It could have been the game of last generation.
It's
probably the most played game this generation, honestly.
I wouldn't even bother making a sequel. I mean, I don't know. That thing just keeps going and going and going.
But it's the online.
I haven't even played this.
Still playing it.
Story, man. I want a new story.
The thing is, though, that would be, I get it. It's a game as a service. I agree. But that was one done right because it had so much content. Like, I never beat the single player, but I played it for like 45 hours and got like,
with your friends, right?
I got 2 missions done. So, I mean,
the longest best multiplayer game of the generation. Then that's all you can say.
What happens if they do this then? If it's typically just tied to Grand Theft Auto 6, what if it's just Grand Theft Auto 6? Because like Crap just said, there's no reason for them to do another game. Technically, they can do a Grand Theft Auto 6, but they don't need to redo a multiplayer. They just update the multiplayer they have. So they can just say Grand Theft Auto 6 is exclusive to PlayStation, but the online is still available everywhere.
Right, free to play.
Just re-release it as Grand Theft Auto. That's it.
Yeah,
in order for them to do what Forte is suggesting for GTA Online, they would need to develop it in a new city.
Mm-hmm.
So you would,
they already
think about
that.
if you've played GTA Online, like you've built up, you got penthouses, you got businesses, you got all these cars, you got all these guns, your levels and all that stuff. Now I can understand your levels and your character, the way it looks, moving over to the new city or whatever that they do for GTA Online, but how do you reconcile everything that people have built up over the years?
Well, GTA 6 will be in a different city, where GTA 5 will still be hosted in the same city.
Just release it as Grand Theft Auto, have the entire U.S. and maybe even Canada or Mexico be a part of it, and continue to add the new cities, and you can use a lot of the technology that we have now to
they can bring it back like that.
Cooler. know what I mean?
Yeah.
And use new next gen graphics and everything else, and just release it as Grand Theft Auto, because clearly you've already proven that games as a service works. So why not? You have a new title. It's called Grand Theft Auto. It will last 10 years, and people will expect that.
Crispy, you mean like for the online, have it be more than just what they have it on, like have it like all over the United States?
Yes, exactly.
They're talking about multiple cities, more than one city this time. We've already talked about it.
I'm talking 10 to 20 cities throughout a 10-year span. That would be logical for what they've already done. I mean, it just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yo, they basically do call it GTA Online.
Yeah, they call it GTA.
That's what everybody else say. I'm playing GTA. They don't say GTA 5.
I would love to see that, but see, I used to play GTA Online. I think my level was up to like 150 or something like that.
Jesus, son.
Yo, the amount of how long it took them to drop content, it took them over 2 years to finally get heist in. Like, in order for them to do something like that, we're not going to expect to see that kind of level of update until like 2030.
Well, it depends on what they've been working on the back end when it comes to GTA 5.
Well, here's the thing. So
come on, Mooch, let's go steal some cars, man, and beat some people up. Let's go play.
Listen, we're diving into that, but I mean, the main topic here isn't necessarily just GTA. What I kind of wanted to get from you guys on the panel here is what we're talking about with Sony's plan of attack for next generation is to do what they did this generation, but it looks like they're up in the ante. They're kind of doubling in their chips.
Yeah, and they should because look, it looks like their first party studios aren't going to be ready with their content right away, which is typical. That's how they always start. Yeah. They start off slow and then they start hitting you with bangers later on in the generation. This is a way to kind of fill that content gap instead of having some of it will be exclusive, but timed exclusive content that's going to get those third-party games purchased on your platform and not your competition platform. Then you got your first parties that come out that are only going to be on your platform and then eventually PC. So I think that's a good way of handling things when you're going to have a content drought.
No, I completely agree. I think that this is, and it's interesting because, and it's funny because we sit there and we're all on Twitter. We read both sides. We see PlayStation fans, we see Xbox fans, gamers united, no matter how you look at it. And, listen, you can sit there and say, I don't care, and kind of put your hands folded across your chest and be like, it doesn't bother me. It does. It does bother a lot of gamers. You don't have to come out and say it. You don't even have to say it in the chat. You don't even have to agree with me. You never have to tell me. But realistically speaking, it does bother you if you do only have one console. If everybody has all consoles, then you know how easy it is to just play the game with the content that you like. That's something that I pledged about, it's got to be well over a year ago. I said this on MNC before we started MNC again, was that I said whenever the next generation picks up, I'm going where the content is. If I'm going to pay $60 for a game, hear me out, and we'll just use Marvel Avengers because that's on the table right now, and it's a realistic thing. These other things are rumors, okay? If you're going to put $60 down and you get a beloved character like Spider-Man, right? Whether you like him or not, it's an addition to the game that you're not going to get for the same $60 on another platform. That's where I'm going to go. Now, if the extra content is a multiplayer skin or hat or scarf, well, then it doesn't really matter. I'm going to play it based on performance and go through, my favorite platform, etc. But when you're getting actual content that's going to be delivered to you for the same dollar amount, that's what you guys have to start to look at. And that's why I decided to go with Marvel Avengers on PlayStation, because I genuinely, truly enjoyed my experience with Spider-Man. I can't wait for Miles Morales, and I understand it's not the same Spider-Man. I completely get that. I'll use XBot 448s. It's the generic. That's fine. But nonetheless, it's still going to be...
No, I didn't call it generic.
Oh, what did you call it?
No, I think that, what Sony and Insomniac is doing right now is absolutely incredible. Basically, what they're doing is they have remastered assets of a PS4 game, and they put a new story into it, and they're calling it a next-gen title. That's what they're doing. I never said it was generic.
No, I meant when you called it... You said, what did you call it?
No, I
generic Thor. You said generic, whatever. I don't know. You were going through that, but I mean, I'm just trying to say to you guys that, like, I think ultimately, when it comes down to it, where you put your money down, it's the same thing like I said all the time. You got two pizza places next door to each other. They're both offering $1 slice for a piece of pizza, okay? But the one has a small sign in the window or a big sign in the window that says, with your $1 slice, you get a small soda with it. You might go, I'm not thirsty. Well, guess what? Get the soda anyway. Give it to your friend. Give it to someone who needs it. It doesn't matter. For the same $1, you get the slice in a soda. You get the slice over on the other side. Why not the soda? So in this case, even if you're not a big fan.
Horrible.
What?
What if that slice is horrible? What if that?
But this is the same thing, though.
Is horrible.
That's a great way to put it, though, Crispy. But in this case,
that's why you need to drink to clear your throat.
That's right. Let me clear my throat. Exactly. That's my point. So my whole thing is, I get where you're taking the analogy and making a left turn there, Crispy. But ultimately here, it's the same game, but one has more content. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Well, I'll bring a better example. If you like Chick-fil-A more than Popeyes, then we're going to argue about it, right?
Okay.
I love
Popeyes.
That chicken sandwich is amazing to me, and I've had Chick-fil-A's, and I don't like it. But if you like Chick-fil-A's more than Popeyes, I mean, what are we really arguing about?
Well,
and that's what it comes.
When it comes down to food, taste, flavor, and cooks, you're right. When it comes to the same identical game playing on your screen, but one just happens to have more content for the same $1, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me use your analogy. There's two Popeyes chickens right next door to each other. One's giving you a free soda with your chicken sandwich. One isn't. Okay? You're going with the free soda even if you drink it later. That's my point. So,
okay,
you know what I'm trying to say? And that's all I'm trying to say. There you go. I had to get a couple of food analogies in for the audience. But, I mean, I think that's where I'm going with this. I do want to kind of talk about something that is a very big deal, guys, besides this. I'm really glad that we got to spend the first hour talking games and what the hypotheticals will be for next generation. But this is kind of a big deal. And Crap, I'm going to go to Crap here first because I know Crap really has a lot to say on it. Is, Apple recently came out, and the word is being used as blocks, xCloud, right? And Microsoft on iOS. And they've had an unbelievable rivalry for the longest time. It seemed like they were all buddy-buddy for a while. These companies aren't buddy-buddy. Phil can come on stage and do a cheers toast on Twitter with, Sean Layden at the time. These guys don't. They're competing. They say they're not. They are. And, Apple wants nothing to do with this at this time. And it's not because they don't want the app on there. Apple's claiming, and guys, please do correct me if I'm wrong, they don't want an unfinished product on their app store.
They want to be able to judge all the games individually, right? There's no way to do that. So basically, it's a no-go. Same thing with Google Stadia. So it wasn't just a Microsoft thing.
It's Google
Stadia
as well.
Google
and
Stadia
NVIDIA,
as well,
right?
So, yeah. So they just aren't allowed. It's like people are like, oh, the Microsoft thing. No, it's not. And, again, I always thought it was odd that people just thought that they would allow that to begin with. At the end of the day, I just felt like the kind of arguments that we see for it is sort of pointless anyway, because let's be honest, the only people that we see talking about this kind of stuff are the Xbox fans that are already in the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And so it's not really helping out much and not really accomplishing anything. Like the whole idea behind xCloud was it's going to grow to 2 billion people that aren't gamers, but it's like, here's this fucking $1,300 phone, right? And the stuff streams at 720p, 30 frames per second. So you got all the big wigs that are on Twitter and I got me this $1,300 phone and I can't wait to play me some Xbox xCloud on it, right? But at the end of the day, like you're hyping up this 4K 120 machine, and the people that I see that are showcasing the stuff are like, look at me playing xCloud right now in my house next to my router. Yeah, I got this Xbox One X next to me, but who cares about that? I got a 5-inch screen here. Look, there's only 2.45 seconds of input lag, but that's great because I'm an Xbox fanboy, right? Like, look, the 10 people that were going to play it on iOS, you have my pity, but nobody cares. No amount of, petitions are going to change it. It's not coming to iOS. That stuff
Microsoft cares.
Yeah, Microsoft, I'm sure they do, right?
They
but
definitely
again,
care about that because when it comes to iPhone, they have 52% of the cell phone.
Dude, nobody's
Android does.
Nobody's kicking over
Android
each
has
other.
47, sir.
Nobody's kicking over themselves to get this stuff. I mean, let's be real.
Well, you might be clouding the U.S. market, but I'm just saying because the Japanese market is definitely going Samsung. Just
okay,
saying.
but then you're only focusing on the Japanese market, and I'm talking worldwide.
We're one whole world, so let's not
Japanese is
ignore that.
Well, I'll tell you,
I'm talking worldwide.
What you really can't.
This just in, guys. IGN gave Grounded a review score of 6 to match GameSpot's 6.5. Is this typical? While we change the, let's change the change the topic real quick. Is this the tip? I get it, but hold on.
Another topic on that crap.
I know. I just want to say, is this going to fall within Phil's own bag of 68, 69 rated Metacritic scores? Mooch, what do you think? What says you?
I think that's a very good possibility.
Where's it going to fall? 68, 69. 69, is that Phil's template? xBot, would you say that Phil is aiming for Halo Infinite to reach a 68, 69 and in Halo Infinite? Would you say that's accurate?
I thought you were going to ask me about Grounded. Why'd you switch over to another Halo game?
If you're rating as an executive,
xBot, I don't invest in numbers. Is Battletoads going to be a 68?
I don't invest in numbers all over it. I don't invest in numbers the way you do, brother.
Mooch,
you don't know that. I have been
Battletoads a 68.
I think Battletoads will hit a 72.
Can I say something on this xCloud stuff?
Hold on one second. You're saying it's going to break the mold of the 68 Phil Spencer Game Pass fodder.
That is
correct. We'll hold you to that. Thank you.
I know. Thank you.
I like that one, crap. That was good.
Apparently,
nobody like me. Nobody like me on these things.
I always like you, bro. You know that.
Unscripted.
How about that?
I want to talk about the xCloud we were talking about, guys.
Yeah, no, X-Man.
Give it to Luca.
So X-Man, I'm going to give you the microphone in 1 second. Real quick, shout out to Basement Radar Arcade Podcast. Shout out to Brap. He says, Mooch, Warzone PC is the best place to enjoy Xbox. And he comes back again and he says, don't want to hear that PC gaming is expensive when dudes paid $500 for a console and are now dropping $1,500 for a new phone to stream a game.
Oh, wow. He bumped it by 200.
He did. He threw it up there. He does have a point.
No, he really doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Microsoft. No. He don't have the right. Hold on. First of all, he don't have the right to say that because when I use those, he said, "Oh, people don't spend the PC consoles and phones don't go together. Phones are used more than this." So I don't want to hear
phones are PCs.
I don't want to hear that opinion from him.
Phones are PCs now.
The $1,000, the $1,100 phone, stuff like that. And guess what? Their service provider, they're paying like maybe $10, $20, $25 per month in their bill.
I don't know about
who pays that? I pay more than that.
That's how I have my phone, man.
Well, 25% of people that buy, well, not 25, 16% of people that buy their iPhones and stuff go to the Apple store and they don't subsidize them there.
That's 16%.
I don't.
Out of 100%.
16. Well, 16. Well, no, think about it. 16% is a lot of people.
But that's still not the majority. The majority of people are doing it the way I just told you.
Well, the majority of people are definitely going to go the other way. But like
I paid $1,000 for my iPhone 11. I don't know where the hell people are bringing up $1,200. Like,
that Kishi.
At least I could use the xCloud and everything else on the Samsung device compared to what
I love it
on iPhone. That stuff pisses me off. Apple continues to be truly anti-consumer, and they continue to block great services.
Okay.
Yeah, but Crispy, here's the thing, Crispy.
I can get mad at Apple.
Here's my thing, Crispy, and I'm not going to. Nothing Crispy said is necessarily wrong. But I mean, you have a customer like me, and it may scratch your head to your bleed. You might not be able to figure it out. But like, it's no secret. I say it every week. I'm a huge Apple fan, and I like their ecosystem. And I have my entire family, I have my entire house set up, except for what I do here for YouTube and gaming. Everything else is running on an iDevice. Okay, so my point being is that myself, I will not leave iPhone for xCloud. But that's me. I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. But there's a lot of iPhone owners that are in my camp because they're not just going to switch over. And a lot of times it goes back. That's why I started this segment with Crap. Crap said this when xCloud and Stadia first came out. And I'm starting to lean. I was a little bit more on the positive side of it. Now I'm kind of in the middle here. I'm lukewarm. When you have the opportunity, when you see a lot of people when they're like, hey, guys, it's great. Look I'm playing Gears 5 on my phone. Do you ever notice where like 85 to 90% of those pictures are? They're usually in their living room under ideal conditions with the best Wi-Fi, right? And they're not on the road. Nobody's like at a bus stop playing on their phone. Yeah,
I've had multiple people.
I have my phone
but listen,
and my tablet.
Well, let me tell you something.
My tablet.
Well, hold on.
Has an SD. Oh, go ahead.
Listen, there was a lot of people saying anti-consumer and this and that and paywalls. Well, Microsoft's done something that no one's talking about. Microsoft has put xCloud behind a $15 a month paywall, and no one's talking about that. And that's what I'm trying to say.
I think they did worse than that. According to
why not add a third thing to the $15 a month paywall? Because it's already there. It's already there with Xbox Live and Game Pass. So to add a third thing.
Why not throw it in? Why not just throw it into Xbox Live Gold? If you have Xbox Live Gold, you have it. We're already paying for that. That would be nice. We're paying.
Know what they're doing because
there's
they
a
just
trick to
released.
this.
Listen. Look at.
Play free to
if
play
everybody,
for the next couple days.
If everybody's
That's still
streaming,
a paywall, though, Mooch.
It is a paywall. It's a cheaper paywall.
You don't have to deal with that paywall.
So
you don't have to attach it to that, guys. You ready for this?
Go ahead, Sir X-Man.
Xbox has Preview Stream. Preview Stream connects your Xbox to your tablet or your phone. People forget about it. They think it's all XPlay. There's another section that's Preview Stream. You can play any of your game on your Xbox any way you want. I'm driving around. My son has my phone or my tablet, or he's using his phone, and he's playing the game with a controller while I'm driving down the street.
Right.
Really, no lag. Unless you get to like place with a lot of electrical wires, that's when we were having our problems. But now we're using our phone data. We're not using anything else.
That's right.
Yo, Sir X-Man, my only problem with that, and it's the same thing on the PlayStation side when people were using their PlayStations to stream to their phones, their PS4 games. My only problem with that is until they can make it where the box can do something separately on the TV as well as stream that game to you, it's not going to be worth it. Like, when it comes
I'm not here with my Xbox though. I'm not here. Nobody's on my TV.
Well, but that's that's your particular.
But my Xbox comes on when I'm not here. Okay, but it stays in dark mode. The light doesn't come on or nothing.
Particular situation, and what I'm saying is that whole feature isn't going to go crazy for people who have a big family and they have their Xbox in the living room for people to play and stuff like that. Until they can do it where like Snaps can watch movies on my Xbox while I'm streaming, a game to my phone or something. That's when I feel like that feature is doing something absolutely productive.
I got 4 Xboxes though, so that's what makes it easier.
Yo, can I borrow one? Sir? Do you have one for me? Yeah.
I think that there is a situation out there where
it does work. It works.
Listen,
and it works nicely.
Sir xCloud is using all those Xboxes for DVD players in each room.
Wow. Did you find my porn collection?
Well,
shout out to Predator.
Damn, I was gonna say Caddyshack.
Real quick, shout out to Predator. He says, "How the hell is Microsoft not letting you stream xCloud to Surface devices or Windows 10, but I can on an Android?
Why can't you?
I don't know.
I can't get the
question.
I don't know. He has a Surface,
Surface Pro.
You should know.
But
you can stream xCloud to Windows 10.
He's saying you can't.
No. Because someone just said I can. I'm like, when did that happen?
Not to a Windows 10 PC.
Okay, all right. But I'm about to say because I like.
I was thought you was talking about the Windows 10 tablet. You can do it on the tablet.
Said on Surface, you can, yeah.
Yeah, Surface, you can, yeah, and I can do it on my Android tablet too.
Let me do this real quick. I have a lot of people writing me on both. Everyone can hear. Everyone can hear me, but there's 2 different streams going on my channel, and YouTube really messed up. So listen. If you're in the room right now with 44 watching, almost 50 people in that room, it goes up and down. Guys, I have in the chat right now. I'm putting it in the chat. The link to the one where everybody else is. If you're in the room right now with 44 to 50 people. You're in the wrong chat room. Come on over into the other one. I want to say, because a lot of people write me messages. I'm going back and forth. And I don't want to miss anything that I'm saying here. So guys, please look at the chat.
Yeah.
And I put the link in there.
Like,
and bring your mask too, because this ain't the social distance side.
That's correct. Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta in the chat. He says, I don't care about xCloud, Stadia, or game streaming in general. All I want to know is where is the price, release date, and pre-order info for the Series X and PS5. Sin Vendetta with the knowledge we've all been looking for. That is exactly what we are. Absolutely. We all have been kind of waiting for this. And you know what?
Dude, that's why we need E3 back, man.
We definitely do.
I'm tired of the fighting. You're right. I want E3 back. I'm tired of what they're doing.
Well, let me do this, guys. I want to kind of go over to the state of play, guys, if you don't mind. I've got a list here of the games. And, you know, it's funny. Maybe I'm the only one that got the memo. But let me know what you guys think. It was said on every channel. I don't care who you listen to. All the big YouTubers, the Xbox ones and the PlayStation ones, they were all saying this. And I believe Sony even said it. And the person I saw that said it was, shout out the Dreamcast guy. He did a video on when they announced, I believe it was Wednesday before or Tuesday before the Thursday event. He read it right off the PlayStation script that said basically this is going to be a send-off. It's going to be predominantly PS4 games, PSVR, and maybe a sprinkle of PS5.
They didn't say basically. They said no big PS5 announcements.
Right, no big PS5. Right, I was kind of paraphrasing. No, you're 100% right, crap. But my point being is then everyone was like, this is a shitty show. There's nothing here for PS5. And I'm like, but they said that. I don't to me, I watched it because we all do this so we can discuss it. I wrote down all the games that were kind of something that we can even discuss. But realistically, outside of Godfall, there was Crash 4, Hitman 3, Braid, The Pathless, Spelunky 2, Bugsnax, PSVR's Vadar Immortal coming to PSVR, Control DLC. I mean, it was nothing really massive. Godfall, that's what I said.
Did you say Braid? Braid
Anniversary, I believe.
They're remastering it with some new stuff. It was a good 360 game, but what I want to say is,
look.
Crap got 1,000 in that game, if I remember.
Yeah, something I don't know. It's an arcade game. I think you can only get 200. Yeah. But you know, back in the day, you know, when I was watching that and you see it, like thing that got me, like I thought it was an okay show. Obviously, it wasn't great, but it was like. They showed Hitman coming to VR, which is awesome because we're getting games that aren't just experiences anymore. But Hitman VR sounds pretty damn dope. And then you also have Vader, which is something I've been looking forward to. I mean, the fucking Move controller as a lightsaber. Are you kidding me? Like that thing's built for that. I've been waiting for that. So the fact that they're still fully supporting the VR
hurt
stuff.
Somebody.
I mean, listen. I love the VR stuff, and I can't wait to play that stuff. It's like that to me. Like even if you didn't like it or whoever, I'm long on record as liking VR. And I also point out that as the VR revenue keeps growing, it puts more and more pressure on Microsoft to actually do something in that space. Because I do see people go, man, I'd love to play Hitman in VR or the next Resident Evil in VR, right? Like imagine going through the woods in VR, you'd be freaked out.
Hitman.
Like, damn,
was Hitman 1 and 2 also like I thought I saw something that Hitman 1 and 2 will also support VR as well as Hitman 3 when it comes out. Did you see that too, or was
I didn't see that. I just saw that. I just saw that.
On the PC,
I just saw the Hitman 3.
On the PC, they will.
Well, I would say this:
the fact that it's PS.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Crap. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the fact that and listen, I like Hitman games. They're kind of hard, but I think just being immersive in that would be a really cool experience. So like. That's what kind of sells me on that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Just the idea that you can play that game in VR, I think is really cool. And I think, I actually want Xbox to do it so that Xbox people can stop, I don't care about VR. Just try it. I know. I would love for them just to try it.
Phil said it. He said high fidelity VR when it came to the Xbox One X. There is a promise there that has not been fulfilled. I have been saying it from the beginning. They need, I don't care about numbers and anything like that. You came out in the public and you talked about VR on Xbox, then you need to bring VR on Xbox. That's a period question.
This is true.
I think with their partnerships that they're doing with Facebook, and since Facebook owns Oculus, that eventually some kind of variation of the Oculus Rift will go over to the Xbox Series.
Yes, I agree.
This generation, but in regards to state of play, and I'm always the eyeball when it comes to these shows because I like indie games. So I'm always seeing games that I'm interested in. And I saw at least 2 or 3 games that I had already featured on my channel, which was Genshin Impact. The other one was Anon Mutinum. 2 games that I had already were interested in and talked about, know all about those games. So like the show was decent to me. It wasn't like there was no big AAA heavy hitter there to really make you go, oh man, I can't wait to play that. But I mean, we knew that ahead of time. It's the same thing about setting expectations. They set the expectation that this is what you're going to see. And you know, people, if you had a different expectation and somewhat disappointed after they already told you what was they were going to show, that's on you.
But yeah, Slow-Mo, I was going to say, out there in Twitter world and social media, there are a bunch of people that feel that Godfall is a big AAA experience coming to PlayStation 5.
Well, I think the words big AAA experience and published by Gearbox should never be put in the same sentence.
Well, hey, I'm a big Borderlands fan, but nonetheless.
But Borderlands was published by 2K.
That's true. That
Gearbox loves to steal money from other publishers to make sure Borderlands is great. That's so, true. You know, like they do that for Borderlands. Facts. But other games they published, Risk of Rain, indie, We Happy Few.
Yeah,
you know. So it's just like they don't publish. They don't spend a lot.
What you guys don't realize is Slow-Mo just bashed both consoles at the same time.
That's the way to do it,
right? Nice work, Slow-Mo. I got Slow-Mo.
You sucked. If anything,
I tip my cap to you, Slow-Mo.
Just made people. If you just made people want a BioShock game like that again. You know what I mean? That's what that was. Like people expected BioShock and they got some kind of weird survival game.
They don't know what they got.
Yeah, exactly. And they even tried to change it around on the fly and it still sucked.
What's that Johnny what's his name there movie? Not Leaving Las Vegas. What is it? Las Vegas
Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Loathing.
That's what that was like. You got out. It was like BioShock
movie. Yeah.
You come out of that tunnel, which by the way, I watched xBot 448 stream when it first came out, and you come out into the world, which the world looked beautiful, and then all of a sudden he was like, "I need a pill. I'm hungry. I need this," and he's just like walking around the grass for like 3 hours. I'm like, "What the hell is this shit?" Real quick,
sneaking into people's apartments, stealing their stuff.
Shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. He says, xBot 448, you can subsidize PCs too. Credit cards with no interest financing as an option. Woo!
I told him my birthday was in January. Go ahead and subsidize one for me, brother.
Shout out to Brapto. You guys, I see you guys all trickling over from that other room. You guys must just love that other room. Come on over, guys. I put the link in the chat. But, I mean, I do got to say, guys, I thought the show was just what the show was promised to be. I don't think it was great. I don't think it wasn't great. I think that
it was like a C+.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. C+, C. I think that, you know, the one thing that I find interesting, and it's the topic is Godfall. That's fine. We can discuss Godfall. But I think that a lot of people look at new generations and launch games with a different light, right? I mean, like I said, we had Dead Rising 3. We had Rise, which you guys know this. I'm on record. I've been saying it for years now. There's nothing new here. Rise was not my bag. I still couldn't even beat the game. It's just so boring. By the time I got like the 3-4 hours in, it was only a 5-hour game. I got about halfway through. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I just can't keep turning around and hitting XYA. Stop it already. I get it. The visuals are great, but I just can't keep hitting those same 3 letters. Stop it. So but I get it. It's a launch game. It's supposed to look beautiful to the eye. It's supposed to lure you in to buy the box. And I get that. So, well, I think Rise did a good job of that. It didn't translate to sales.
I thought you were playing Godfall in that category. But I'm like, does that?
I think, well, first of all, xBot, I know you didn't go back and watch it in 4K. You ended up probably
I did.
Okay.
Dude, I said I would, man. I'm a man of my word.
But the game does look visually good. I don't think it's like the best game I've ever seen in my life, but it
looks next gen to you, huh?
More than Craig.
Neither game company has sold me.
Dude, it's a hallway.
Crispy's right. Crispy's right. Listen to what Crispy's saying.
It's a hallway slasher that has so much room for graphics to get.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, xBot. What's your opinion of Mortal Shell?
I have none.
You've never had no opinion since I've known you.
I also want to say Crash Bandicoot looked good.
It did, but I mean, my point, crap. Before, and
So
actually, I thought it looked pretty.
So
I thought
I
it looked
can't
pretty
deny
good.
that.
I thought it looked pretty good too. But
She's really excited for that.
But there's people saying that Mortal Shell looks great. I've watched Mortal Shell now a ton, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a very open world. A lot of Souls-like games have that linear, you want to say, corridor that have empty space. But then believe me, when you go to match up against those 3, 4, 5 enemies, it's a doozy. So my point being is that
there were NPCs just sitting there waiting to get hit. They were just standing there in the gameplay that we saw. They were just standing there, and he walked right up to them. They didn't even get ready or anything, and they just like stood there and got hit.
I didn't think that it was the best showing they could have had, but I'm looking at the game as a launch title. When you're going, everybody likes to take the games and kind of at a launch of any console, and you play one game, then you pop one out, you put another game in. Nowadays, you just digitally go from one piece of graphic art to the next, but nonetheless, my point being is that you kind of jump from game to game, see what each game brings with new technology, the advancements, the fun, and I thought this game, no, really, I don't understand how with a launch title, I get if you don't like the game, that's fine, but Xbox, you're bashing the game, and I'm not seeing the bash. I don't get the bash.
Can I
You're alluding into my question that I've been wanting to bring up for about 5 minutes.
Please speak, sir.
Waiting for a time.
Yep, go ahead.
All right. Every generation, you have a few games that come out on the console that show the new power. Okay?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This is the first time I've ever seen a generation start where you don't have pretty much nothing ready to show that power on day one.
That's an interesting point.
They have started earlier than they wanted to for this generation. Most times they wait. Go ahead, Crispy. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
The only thing that we are seeing is that Xbox continues to push frames per second. And that's really, and we're not seeing it on the streams, even on the uploads. We're not, unless you have some kind of special unit or you're looking at it through like a dev kit or something.
I have a special unit. I'm just saying. I had to.
Frames per second is fine.
I know you go there all the time.
But if the games don't look good with the frames per second, what is the point?
But that's because we are in the pandemic. A lot of people are ignoring this.
On the One X, they gave you options, right, Crispy? You could have went to 1080p and had a beautiful picture.
What I'm saying to you is you go and play certain games on the One X.
Yes.
And you have the proper TV. You see the difference.
So Crispy, let me just interrupt you real quick because there's two things. You're not wrong, but there's a whole lot of asterisks next to your comment, okay? The first one is most TVs are hitting a 60 hertz. They're not hitting 120, first of all. So
correct.
You said that, so give Crispy credit. Crispy, I'm giving you credit there. You're right, but there's an asterisk. The other thing is the games you're talking about that Xbox has said at launch are going to hit 120 are all old Xbox One games. And no offense, I don't, just like the old Stephen A. Smith meme that's out there, or meme that's out there, we don't care. You know what I mean?
You want to see visual. You want to see visual.
I don't want to play a game from 3 years ago at 100. I loved Ori and the Will of the Wisps, but I'm not excited for November to come to play Ori at 120 frames. And if I'm alone on that island, then I'll stand there alone with that flag. But I'm not that excited for that. I'm sorry.
What is PlayStation offering?
They're giving you new content.
I'm getting new games. I'm getting new games over on PlayStation. Right? Miles Morales. I'm going to get Ratchet and Clank.
You're going to come after the Xbox showcase and show what you did. I'll give it a 7 because it's state of play. That's why I give it a 7. And that's why I
but Crispy, this state of play was this state of play was a PS4 state of play. That has nothing to do with next generation, except for Godfall at the end.
But why are we still touting
they had a lot of PS5 gameplay. Supposedly,
it was indies. Those were the couple of indies that we're going over. Real quick, TEZ83. Well, what Xbox? I didn't say it was PS4. Sony said it was PS4. Crap,
yeah.
Not.
And that's surprising because there was a lot of quote unquote PS5 dev kit gameplay going on, man.
There wasn't a lot.
That's what they said. It just would be no big PS5.
No
news.
big PS5 news. It was basically PS4.
Yeah.
You know,
if PlayStation was confident, they would have come out with something special. At least one tidbit, one little.
No. They're doing their big August show after Xbox's big August show. They're doing this cat and mouse crap.
Yeah, which they're both wrong for.
Absolutely. Xbox right. Xbox right there. TZ83 says, we all made PlayStation Nation. He says, sorry for being late. Great show, by the way. I would send more, but I need my Hennessy. PS5 day one. Xbox 448. Welcome to PlayStation Nation.
Bro.
Shout out to
the Black and Blue edition. The Black and Blue edition. That's the one I want.
You know, and that was my thing. I mean, Slow-Mo and Forte, I really do kind of want to get you guys in here as well. What did you guys think about that whole situation there? Do you think that we like, who cares that we're getting 120 frames on Ori or Gears 5? Like, and not just that, you know, we are talking about a console. Not everybody that's going to have an Xbox Series X is going to go buy a 144 hertz monitor to hook up to their Series X. They're going to be playing it on their current 4K TV, and most TVs are 60 frames.
Didn't
max.
they also say content? They were adding content.
Yeah, but
to
again, it's
for free. So
sure, all right.
So yeah,
great.
Well, look, I would say more frames is always good.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to knock them adding more frames for games that are already out. What I would like to see is that more from the games that aren't out yet. So that would be great.
Right.
I know that Halo Infinite is supposed to have a mode for 120 frames per second for the multiplayer, which is great. And I would like to see more of that for the games that are coming out next generation. But I mean, look, I got a PC. I mean, I've been playing at 120 frames for over a year now. So, I mean, it's cool and all, but like, I would like to see more games.
No, I gotta be honest with you. Slow-Mo makes a good point, and you know, shout out to Enrique. Who I hope he's still listening. Brap, you know, he says PC master race all the time. I do play Warzone always on the PC, and when you do switch over to 60 frames on the Xbox One X, it is a drastic difference. So Slow-Mo's right. I will
like
tip my cap. It does feel like slow motion. It does. So I will tip my cap to Slow-Mo, saying that we should applaud the movement to get those games to 120, but because our backlog is so large, right? And the new games coming out, we're all using all companies are using x86 architecture as far as Sony and Microsoft are concerned. We're going to have a plethora of games. It's not going to be like last generation where we had remasters for a year while everybody caught up. There's still going to be third-party games. Your backlog is not going to shrink, okay, guys? It's going to get larger and larger. My point being here is that to say that Gears 5 or to say that Ori's now at 120, that's cool. Doesn't mean I'm not going to pop it on and look at it, and then Microsoft gets to like put a check mark, be like another active user back in Ori. Okay, I got it. But my point being is like I'm not going to go back and play that game in 120 frames, and I think even most people that would argue with me aren't going to do that. They'll take a picture like Ori in 120 is unbelievable. Tweet. And then they're going to shut it off and play a new game. So, it's like, that's what we all do. I get it. I understand. Shout out to Sin Vendetta in the chat. He says, I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing anything that's being released in 2020 on either PS5 or Series X that looks next gen. Looks to me that next gen starts late 2021.
We haven't seen all of Miles Morales yet, so I mean,
we haven't seen the other games too, crap, right?
And we don't really know. It looks like they're still finalizing their launch lineup. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Demon Souls in there, or maybe even Ratchet and Clank make it. Again, to me that looked next gen, especially with that the way that they were able to sort of go from one thing to the other without the loading screens and stuff like that. I thought that was phenomenal. Plus, obviously, that they support ray tracing and all that stuff, and hopefully they can get that stuff in right away because there is stuff going on, extenuating circumstances. But the last thing you want to do is launch an incomplete game to show off your new console because you'd have to be a complete asshole to do that.
Mooch, Slow-Mo.
Yes.
Mooch, Slow-Mo. Question for you two, since you both play on the same games on Xbox and PC. You both say that you get 120 frames on PC, but can you still maintain those gorgeous graphics?
Those graphics those graphics look way better even at 1440p.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
So
that's the thing
that's more than just resolution, Sir X-Man.
I
Resolution is just one part of the whole visual pie. There are other features that I have the option to turn up and down depending on what I want. And sometimes some of those features, like for example, like additional shadow detail, like that.
Yeah, turn that down a little bit on mine.
You could turn that down a little bit and get more frames, and it not affect the way your game
turn that
looks.
Damn blur off. That's annoying.
Oh yeah, I do that. I turn on motion blur immediately. That's just like yeah. But what I'm saying is that like my games look better at 1440p on PC than they look at 4K on my Xbox One X.
And you know what? Thank you.
I know.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people don't really understand that. That's why I think Sony has understood that. I think a lot of gamers understand that, regardless of what platform you prefer. What Slow-Mo just said is 100% accurate. I've got 2 screens that I use, and they're 144 hertz. They're 1440p. And let me tell you something. They look better than the games do on. I mean, granted, I have the 2080 Ti.
It's
I
crisp
get that.
and sharp, and you see all the detail.
It does look much better and sharper, crisper, absolutely, Sir X-Man, than it does on the Xbox Series X or Xbox. Excuse me, One X, Xbox One X.
I mean, everybody's ignoring frames per second, and if you're going to go to 1440p, you're touting the frames per second, and
but
maybe Epic is wrong for doing this. But at the same time, they're right for
doing it.
Crispy, what I'm saying is, if these games they can lock it at 60. That's fine. For a console, I admit that's pretty good. But give me the sharp graphics that I have at 60 on the PC.
Dude.
But I want the graphics to go with it. I don't want it dummied down. I want the graphics to go with it.
Sir X-Man, like 1440p is not like that's not blurry or anything. Okay, like it's not.
I know, but I'm talking about as far as console.
But also, what you're going to start seeing in the future is that there's going to be more machine learning going on. There's DLSS 2.0 that can take a 1080p image and make it look better and sharper than a 4K native image on PC right now, and AMD has their own version of that. I forgot what it's called, but all that stuff is being implemented.
Yeah, I heard that's coming out.
What Epic is doing with the Unreal Engine 5. There are so many ways now where software and AI is going to be making an image look way better than what you would typically expect to see from hardware this generation. So the whole resolution thing, we're going to start seeing people making comparisons on visuals that aren't based upon is this native or is this checkerboarded, is this upsampled, up-res. Like no one's going to care about that anymore. So just like it's changing.
But you see where I'm coming from though, right? I want the graphics and I want the frames per second. I want
exactly.
I don't want to have to sacrifice.
Exactly what you talk about. That's why I play on PC.
And it sucks. That's why
who is the software-based company though? Like everybody's ignoring this.
Yeah, but
like
Crispy,
they are.
Crispy, we gotta stop with that. They are. No, listen, they are, but that's a bumper sticker. That's getting old now. You know, because to be honest with you, that doesn't hold water anymore.
You're gonna see it very soon.
Well, I've been waiting 7 years. So listen, my point being is this: I want to get right. I do agree with what's
in a pandemic. You're not gonna see it.
No, we can't blame the pandemic for 7 years.
Well,
but listen, I think that Slow-Mo made the great point when he was talking to Sir X-Man when he literally said to him, he goes, "That's why I play on PC." You know, because he's like,
well, listen, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, as you go back to, I remember when the Xbox One X came out and everybody's excited, me too, right? We're getting 4K. And they're like, well, you know, you can play, we retrofitted Gears 4, and you can play Gears 4 at, 4K 30, the campaign, or, 1080p 60. I tried the 1080p 60 campaign, and it looked like the 360 game. So I was like, screw that, and I turned it up to 4K 30. It was the same thing with, like, I think the Tomb Raider games. They gave you the option to do 1080p 60, and it looked like shit. So I turned it to 4K 30. Even Forza Horizon 4, right? You could play at 1080 60. It looked like a 360 game. I put it to 4K 30, even though it's a racing game. I was like, man, I ain't playing. I didn't get 4K TV to play this shit.
That's
you know what I mean? It's like, it looks terrible.
I'm at a point right now where, I even went back before the Xbox event there before July 23rd, and I kind of got Halo fever. I was saying this online, and I went and I played Halo Master Chief Collection.
I had Halo
3.
fever too before we saw that gameplay reveal.
So
yeah.
My point being was that I went back and played Halo 3. Let's call it what it is, right? Halo 3 looked absolutely amazing compared to the Halo 3 of 360. It looks amazing on the Master Chief Collection. It really does. But it's still. But here's the thing: it looks like a
feels
polished,
old.
right? Exactly, Xbox. It feels like a polished Xbox 360 game. So when everyone's just
remastered,
when everyone's just like, oh, I can't wait. I want the 4K splashed on my old games. And this, like when Xbox does all that, listen, I understand. There's probably a customer out there. I can't say there isn't a customer out there. That's not me. I'm not that customer. Like, I already played those games. That's great. I'm currently playing through. I'm trying to get the platinum on. I have 2 trophies left. It's taking forever to get these last 2 trophies. But I'm playing Bloodborne, which is 5 years old. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first to say this. And there's a lot of Sony guys listening right now. Bloodborne might be one of my favorite games of this generation. But Bloodborne isn't the best-looking game I've ever played. And, you want to put a polish on it, fine. But I'm enjoying that game as it is. These splashes of polish at Xbox, I'm going to put a splash of polish on this old game. Go play that until we get our stuff ready. No! Like, go get a deal with third party. Get one of your other teams. Like, that's the other thing we've been saying for a long time that I guess I kind of scratch my head and I don't understand this. I'm okay with the fact that Xbox said Xbox One generation we want to end. We want Xbox Series X generation to start with a bang. But here we are. And we've got November on the horizon, and we've got Infinite, which looks okay right now. I'm sure we'll see more about it. But then me and Xbot had a great conversation today on Twitter, and Xbot was like, "Well, don't forget, Mooch, you got oh, I'm trying to remember it now. What's that one game you were touting about, Xbot? Not the Grub. What is it called there?
The Gunk.
The Gunk.
I didn't say anything about the Gunk.
Well, you
today.
mentioned. Well, we were talking about games coming out exclusive to the console, and I think you said the Gunk's coming out, or someone that was on your side.
Well, yeah, no, they have a bunch of what they call, console launch exclusives that when they do come out on consoles,
regardless,
it's gonna be on Xbox.
Right, that's fine.
I like
Which one, Crispy?
Ascent.
Okay, the Ascent, the Gunk, but since Xbox last put out a game, which was, I believe, Sea of Thieves was their last new IP, right? Crap, I believe that's right. Since they last put out that, you figure, okay, we're going to give Xbox the benefit of the doubt. They're calling it.
That was announced in 2015. They were announced.
That's okay. But the game came out. When the game came out, in 2016. Did it come out? 2018. Whatever. My point being is, okay, that game comes out. Now all of a sudden you're like, that was the last game. We're going to reboot. We're going to we've learned from our mistakes. You'd think they would come out guns blazing. And I'm sorry, but the Ascent and the Gunk. The Gunk and the Ascent are not what I'd expect after the drought we've had.
In 2017, and anybody can Google this, Phil Spencer said he just signed big game deals, but they wouldn't be ready for 2 to 3 years, and then they would announce them, right? And here we are over 3 years later, and where the hell are they?
That's what I'm saying. What's going on? And I'm like, well, I was expecting July 23rd to be like hit after hit after hit of games we'd be playing between November and February.
Yeah, if you go back to it, okay, it's interesting because the games that Microsoft announced for the Xbox One between the reveal and at E3 in 2013, far superior to what they announced at this show in July 23rd. Because look what we got within that launch year, and it sounds crazy, but this is the reason why I bought an Xbox One. Like, think about this: within that launch year, you got Rise, Son of Rome, Dead Rising 3, Forza Motorsport 5, Killer Instinct, Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive, Halo Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 2. Like, holy crap. It really doesn't get much better than that for a first year.
For a damn pandemic, bro. Come on, man.
So that has nothing to do with the pandemic.
Crispy, we got to stop saying that over and over again. It's nothing to do with
it. This is way before the pandemic, Crispy.
We're in the middle of a 14-month. Think about this. We're in the middle of a 14-month AAA exclusive drought from Microsoft. Gears 5 was released in September of 2019. Halo Infinite will be released in November of 2020.
And Last of Us
14-month drought.
And Ghost of Tsushima
just released
were developed probably far before this pandemic.
Crispy, you got to stop. You got to stop with the pandemic. What I'm saying to you is that Sea of Thieves came out in 20 whatever it was.
Let me point this out. Halo 5 came out in 2015. And then they started on Halo Infinite in 2015, presumably, right? Jump right into the next project. And I don't care about the fuck up they had in between. Okay, well, whatever. We can give them whatever they want. Uncharted 4 came out in 2016, and they still came out with The Last of Us 2, right? Look, Ghost of Tsushima came out, but that company also put out a AAA.
You don't know how long they were working on Last of Us 2.
Listen, they still came out with Infamous right?
Naughty Dog's
Infamous
not a
Second
small
Son,
dev, dude.
Infamous. I'm not talking about
They're
Naughty
small,
Dog.
they're smaller than 343.
Hey, I'm talking about Sucker Punch right now, right? So Sucker Punch came out with Infamous, right? Then they came out with a standalone Infamous, and then they came out with Ghost of Tsushima within 7-year period. Okay, you
Same
have
thing
Naughty Dog who
Obsidian's
came.
doing now.
Well, listen, you had Naughty Dog come out with Uncharted 4, and they're basically the best developers in the world right now. Uncharted 4, and then of course The Last of Us 2. Again, 343 has something like 1,400 people working on that game right now, and that's what we saw. 1,400 people working on that game.
Making a new engine. Making a new engine. I mean, come on, bro. They scrapped working on Unreal.
Okay, so wait,
and they went through Slipspace.
So why hasn't Microsoft? Why isn't Microsoft?
But Guerrilla Games came out. Guerrilla Games had the Decima engine, right? And they had. They still had their first game at launch, and then they still had Horizon Zero Dawn, and now they're about to have another one in a year or two.
Not only that, but
you're talking about Killzone.
But you look at
Killzone. They went from that's 2 in the generation. You have 343 with tremendous.
2 in the generation between the 6-year period, correct?
And you've got 343 with more money, more employees, and you have less. But I'm just trying to make sense here, crap.
Well, let me just point this out too. Not only that, but Decima Engine came out and got multiple games on it because Death Stranding was built on it. They did that in 3 years. Yeah. They came out with that game. Won like 50, 60 Game of the Year awards. May not have won the Game of the Year award from the Game Awards, but it still did. But also, what the hell is that horror game I like on PlayStation? But that one was made on the Decima Engine.
You, crap.
That game was actually hold on. That game was made as well. This is what I'm saying. There was no pandemic when Microsoft hasn't had anything announced for the in between. They ended the generation September of last year, and they make people wait 14 months for the next big game. I think that's unacceptable and hold defeat to the fire. Not only that, but you look at the games that they have coming out, and while I do think that there's some promise for Everwild and Avowed and Fable, of course, those do sound good, and even Forza, those games were all listed as only Xbox Series X and PC, okay, which Microsoft and Phil Spencer has confirmed that for the first 2 years, meaning from November,
to 2 years, 1 to 2 years
said,
is what
Phil
they
Spencer,
said.
But Phil Spencer clarified. Listen, Phil Spencer. Listen. Let me fucking finish. Phil Spencer just recently, right before their event, said a couple of years. He didn't say 1 year. He said a couple of years. So from November of 2020 till November of 2022. Those games have to be on the Xbox One as well. The fact that all those other games, and let's not kid ourselves, State of Decay 2 is in pre-production. Everwild, the developer said they don't even know what the gameplay is yet. Hellblade 2, no actual footage of that. They're scouting locations for it. Avowed, you think that's coming out before 2023? Get out of here. Look, these games are 2023 and beyond.
That
so
documentary
Avowed is
it was them
2.5.
the location
Avowed
and stuff and getting
production.
the land right.
Hold on, go ahead.
Okay.
Can I defend crap now?
Avowed has been in production for 2.5 years, so that one probably will be out in 20.
It's still a couple
Obsidian
of years.
is a juggernaut. You could say here, dude, they're going RPG, they're going multiplayer.
I'll give Obsidian. Obsidian is a juggernaut. They are very good.
That game is not releasing in 2022.
I think it'll be released in 2022.
It's really.
I think none of that stuff is coming out there. No way. No way. And not only that, Hellblade, look at the stuff that's building on Unreal Engine 5.
Why won't Avowed be out in 2022? I don't understand.
I don't think it'll be out in 20 because they didn't show any gameplay.
Well, I mean, that's still 2 years out from now. I mean,
exactly.
Well, Slow-Mo, I'll be honest with you, Slow-Mo, I was kind of riding on your train there, but crap, that's a good wrench to throw into the gear, right? Like, if it's been in development for 2 years, they could have showed more than that graphic we saw.
No.
I mean, yeah.
It doesn't seem like you wouldn't see anything.
That's what they call a reveal trailer.
Listen. No.
Put
from the top,
we saw two reveal trailers for Everwild.
From the very
we got a new IP. Holy shit!
Well, from the top.
That's the only one.
From the top of the Xbox guys on the YouTube charts, I'm talking about the big, big Alana and all them. Like everyone said, like July 23rd is a big deal. Like. That's the one everyone said, this is the deal. I'm waiting to see. Don't get me wrong. Avowed looks very good. That was definitely my showstopper. That was the one that's got my attention. But that's a very good point. In Slow-Mo, I didn't know that. But if it's already been in development for 2 years and we're talking about 2022, I thought we would have seen a little bit more. I mean, we saw more about Horizon Forbidden West than we did that. I would have thought we would have seen a little bit more.
I would say the way they reveal their games is different than the way Sony reveals their games. Like even though take away The Last of Us Part 2 that had like a teaser trailer with Ellie playing the guitar. The other games they show, when they show Ghost of Tsushima, we saw like gameplay. You know, we saw when we saw Spider-Man, we saw gameplay. Like Sony does it differently, and I think applying how Sony reveals their games to how Microsoft reveals their games, which is clearly different. It's not really the same. Now I would say like we see something like Everwild, and they're showing a second trailer of absolutely nothing, and they even come out and admit we don't even know what this gameplay is going to be. Yeah, that game ain't coming out anytime soon. But from what the part where I said Avowed has been in development for 2 years and it was in pre-production for 7 months, that came from the same leak that everyone is talking about how the game is going to play. So all that information is all in there. So it's like if you're going to believe part of it, you got to believe. You're going to have to believe all of it if you're going to believe part of it.
I believe it. And the leak that I read was 70 people working on it and late 2022, but most likely 2023.
All right. Okay. Well, so the one I read said 100 people were working on it, and they were still growing, and they're still adding people.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't surprise me if that's not. And even so, we're in 2020, and you're looking at maybe holiday 2020. That's almost a 2-year wait for a game. Like what's coming out on Xbox?
Well, check this out.
AAA wise. Hold on. What's coming on? What's coming out?
Well, wait.
Like they haven't confirmed anything that's coming out AAA wise from Xbox in the next 2 years. Like after Halo, what is it? I mean, I think there's an outside chance that Forza could release in 2022 in the holiday space. Yeah. But I mean, outside of that, honestly, there's not a whole lot of prospect. You're talking about you're ending a generation with a 14-month nothing, right? Then you get Halo, and then possibly going into an 18 to 24-month nothing. Okay.
Yo,
I'm the only one that's bringing this up. Bro.
Let me get this straight, because me and you have agreed on something when it came to Xbox's shows, that they have to show the future, right? They have to show the future. Now we are complaining
2023 is going to be a hell of a year.
The future.
No, I don't have a problem with them showing me what's coming in the near future.
There's nothing wrong with that, but the point of the matter is showing
the next 2 years.
No, I wish they had an 18-month window and that's all they showed.
No, I'm going to be honest with you guys.
What's coming in the next 18 months?
But crap, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm okay if Xbox wants to show games coming out 3-4 years from now. That's fine.
I am too.
But what are we playing in the next 18 to 24 months?
Exactly.
And after you get past Halo,
you're playing Scorn. You're playing
those are not AAA.
Those aren't exclusive. Those are AA
look the best game out of all of them.
Well, that's
coming to PlayStation.
They signed those games to pad the front of their release, man.
Well, just like none of this matters. None of this matters.
Go ahead, Sarkman.
Sorry. 3 years ago, Microsoft said we got all these developers. Yep. And y'all know I love Xbox, but we got all these developers. We're gonna make games come. We're gonna make them. The difference between Microsoft and Sony is Sony, excuse my friend, gets on those guys' ass to get these games together, no playing around. Microsoft lets these developers play around, not get to the point, and get these games done. They don't let them get it done. You know, and I'm tired of, dude. They need to stop being that little West Coast, little soft, laid back thing and get to the hardcore and put this foot down like an American company is supposed to and stop playing the game. Say somebody has a problem with Windows. Microsoft will go to that whoever messed that program up and get on his ass and get that shit together. Get your developers together, Microsoft. Get these games out. We are tired of all your talk and no backup. That's the difference between y'all and Sony making their games. The difference. I'm done.
It's broken.
I'm done.
They have 3
years. They're releasing broken anyway.
Sony gets them together and they get them pretty much perfect. Microsoft ain't putting the foot down. They ain't putting their foot down. They ain't whipping on their game testers to get it right and search for the details in the programming and the flaws. You might have a game tester testing a little bit of a game. Get them to play the whole damn game. Get them to play the whole damn game like they used to and go through it from front to back and found out the flaws before you put them out. That's what I'm saying. All Microsoft didn't do this.
Lighter.
Listen,
for Sir X.
You gotta understand. Sir X Man.
Sir X Man about to have a heart attack over here, man.
I tell you, slow-mo.
I take the soda away from him.
I've known Sir X Man for a very long time. Let me just tell everybody who doesn't know Sir X Man. This man bleeds green. This man is a true Xbox fan. So when you hear him say that, you've got to actually scratch your head and say, why is this hardcore Xbox fan saying this? Sir X Man has been one of the through and through Xbox guys. So what I'm trying to say here,
I love other consoles too. I do love other consoles.
You do, but you've been very loyal.
I still got my Atari 26. I still got it.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, that is the question, and that's the question.
Loves his Atari Jaguar, by the way.
It's true. Easy there, Xbot 448.
That's my golf buddy. I can say whatever I want.
But let me say this much. And Crap brought it up earlier, and I wanted to kind of talk about it. And I know we're over the 9 o'clock mark, but we started about 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. My thing is this, real quick. Is Crap brought up the whole grounded thing. And I listen, I sat there and I bit my tongue and I said, listen, I've been doing the Twitch thing for a while. Twitch is always an interesting thing. It's an interesting metric to kind of watch and read. And it is a very good metric to go by. But the one thing with Twitch is you have to look at both categories. One is spike rate and then one is longevity. And, this is the thing that Sir X Man's talking about. This is the thing that I'm talking about. And and I understand where Crispy and Xbox.
I know where you're going with this, Mooch, right? Because Grounded had a bunch of viewers on Twitch the first couple days.
I have it on
everybody threw it in my face, right? In your face, and they're like, "How about that? Look at that!" And I said,
"That was a great release right there, man."
This is what
I
said.
It's not about the release.
Let's have. I said, let's have this.
It's in Game Pass. It's just people stop by to use it.
It's a preview game.
It is a preview. It is a preview.
Listen.
That's Xbox preview.
Stop jumping in. Listen. I said, let's give it a week and see where we stand. And then a week later, where did we stand?
Right.
We stood at 4,000 viewers on Twitch, 5,000 players on Steam, and nobody giving a damn. You could say it's preview all you want, because what game that Xbox has released lately wasn't deserving of being in a goddamn preview program itself, right? Like, let's just be honest.
What game has
State of Decay 2
with 10
Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2. Sea of Thieves had no content at launch. Battletoads looks like another hunk of shit that got delayed time and time again, right? Halo looks like that's going to launch unfinished. What? Let's just make more excuses. Listen, just because you push games as a service doesn't mean that you should put unfinished products in there because you have Game Pass. It's bullshit. You got to have a full, complete game, and it needs to be broken. It doesn't need to be broken. Look, Grounded, half-ass finished game in Game Pass. Do you guys not see the correlation and how stupid this is?
Grounded
I don't care if you have Game Pass or not. That's not an excuse to launch something broken and half finished.
As we sit here, Grounded is at 3,300 viewers. And that's what I'm trying to say here. When everyone was like, oh my God, it's a huge success, 280,000. Listen, it was a flash in the pan. I said this to Gaming Forte when we started the show. I said, Forte, isn't there sometimes during gaming where there's just the perfect storm? Listen, there's nothing out right now.
There was nothing out. 5,000 sales.
So everybody
would put it in the top
10. That's why everyone's like, oh, it's doing great on Steam. But we don't know the numbers. It could have been 5,000, could be 10,000, could be 50,000, could be 50,000.
People were hyping up Horizon Zero Dawn on that, right? Because it went to number one on the pre-orders and stuff like that. And this is what I said. And people can check this over a year ago when this got announced or leaked or whatever. I said, listen, this game, they might be dipping their toe in the water, but I don't think a single-player game like that is going to be huge on PC. Like, PC gamers, when you look at what they're playing, what are they playing? They're playing Dota 2, they're playing League of Legends, they're playing, Sea of Thieves. Like, there's a theme to the type of games that they play, right? And it's like mostly like these online type of player games or whatever. And now we look at the releases. I think they just released what they were, and it was like incredibly low numbers. It's like 53,000 or something. Is that even worth it for them to continue to port games when nobody's supporting them on that platform to begin with?
I don't think we can classify all PC gamers into that genre, because
you play Dota, man. Come on.
Oh no, I love a game called Distance on the PC.
But I'm like,
and I want to see that on console.
We see games like Pillars of Eternity, Divinity Original Sin, like those games originated on PC. XCOM, those games started out on PC. Those are single player games, single player isometric RPG, single player strategy.
That's
games.
A good game.
Gears Tactics, single player game. started out on is on PC right now, not even on Xbox yet. Like there is a demographic on PC for single player gaming. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is probably going to sell a lot. Like I don't know what the sales are right now. I mean, I haven't even got a chance to play it yet, but I know I pre-ordered it.
The peak was 50. The peak is 56,000. The peak for Death Stranding was 32,000. The peak for Detroit Become Human was 7,218.
Look at the Xbox games on Steam. Crap, they're selling like wazoo on Steam.
Look, listen, Master Chief Collection sold better on Steam than it did on Xbox. I mean, that's
the Detroit Become Human.
Well, we did it
sold
free,
1 million on Epic Games Store. Indeed, it wasn't even initially on.
It's over 5 million strong now, which I mean, obviously most of it was sold on PlayStation 4, but I mean, but it was like a timed exclusive or whatever. But
it was timed exclusive.
But listen, in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, for Sony to continue doing this, right? They obviously outsource this because you don't want Guerrilla doing their own PC port because they're busy doing something else.
They might need to do their own PC port with the way this one came out. But I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying it's like 56,000 or even at 200,000. Even if it sells 1 million, that's really not worth. That's not really worth it though, considering this game sold over 10 million copies on PlayStation. Yeah, you could, but I'm saying the manpower and stuff like that. Not only that, but a lot of people go, oh well, they'll release everything day and date. Like that would really take out the advantages of the PlayStation 5 because PC doesn't have that hard drive that way. So you would really that's the problem with Xbox Series X too, right? All that stuff is coming to Xbox One, Xbox S, Xbox this, PC that, that aren't going to have that solid state drive. So everything's kind of built down to that spec. Whereas PlayStation 5, they're building games for the PlayStation 5. They don't got to worry about that, right? Like if you had to worry about a PC, then you would have to worry about that, right? So I enjoy the way that they're doing it. I think this probably is a bad look for anybody that thought that, hey, they're going to get these huge sales from this and, do it. I don't think it's really worth their time at this point. Not only that, but it's getting review bombed and all this, it seems like more of a hassle than anything.
Yeah. And I get
throwing that out there.
I get it. And shout out to Predator H2O. He says, you guys are talking about watching on Twitch, but I can't talk about games that he was talking about how, Grounded's still up on the top Steam purchases. But, what I was saying to Pred was, in addition to just people watching dropping, people can buy the game for whatever it was, $20-$30 and then not be playing it anymore.
There was 5,000 people playing that game today.
There you go, Pred. Was that on Steam, Crap?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what I'm trying to say, Pred. There's that's not a lot of people. So
I just want to say this, okay? Like everybody was like, everybody always points to the install base of the PlayStation 4 and go, well, this game only sold this many. That's pathetic. Well, how many people are on PC? Well, there are 200 million gaming PCs and 41 million Xbox Ones, and a billion phones now, and yet. They hype up 1 million quote unquote players on Grounded, and that's great. But then, what was that game? Fall Guys does almost 2 million in the first day, right? Like, and it's kind of you just kind of get brought
that's
back
why
to earth.
That's why I said Twitch is an interesting metric. I'm not saying it's the say all end all. I don't go everything by, but that's what my point with Twitch was. Everybody on Twitter when Grounded released in preview was like, oh my God, the next biggest hit is here, folks. Everybody stop the presses.
And they said the same thing about Minecraft Dungeons,
right?
And I said, give it a week.
Give it a week. I said it to them, like, just give it a week.
I don't see anybody playing it.
Nobody's playing it anymore.
Nobody's twitching it.
No, they finished the campaign in 30 minutes, and who wants to walk around making a grass house for a week? My point being is, like, I get it. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's bad if you enjoy it, but we can't sit there.
Crafting survival.
It was 48. Yeah, okay. It was 48
and how many of those did we
hours.
Get? How many of those do we got, Bot? There's like, there's one where you're flying Subnautica. There's this other one, Darwin Project. That. Like, there's
everything spikes. Listen,
Subnautica.
But I mean, I'll be fair.
Community that plays them.
When it comes, if you're gonna, and this is what I was saying. And shout out
I've
to
never seen anybody play that.
Shout out to Predator H12. My only point with Twitch. Listen, I've
never seen anybody play that. I've seen a couple of people play Ark.
I have.
I've seen a couple of people play Ark Survival Evolved.
All the
Ark people play Ark.
I'm sure there's a dedicated community. I'm sure there's a dedicated community for farming sims too and goat sims, but that's not the
Warframe is the big one.
Warframe. If they're not making money, why are they supporting them?
Like I said,
because they're not costing them money.
It doesn't cost anything, Chris.
It's not costing anything.
Like, what is
you
it?
think? I mean, me and Mooch could have like 10 10 people sitting around like building that game, like okay, that's not costing them anything.
And
really.
if they only get 50,000 players, whatever, that's fine. They'll make money on it.
Around you then.
No, but
I mean, honestly, it's not costing them anything.
No, my point with I'm going to go back to Twitch though real quick because people are saying watching. I want to say watching versus playing. The thing I'm asking, I'm not saying I'm using it as the only metrics. I'm saying the internet was using it as a metric. Everybody on Twitter last week was saying, "Oh my God, Microsoft just found their newest sensation," and I'm like, "Well, let's pump the brakes." And all I'm right because what I'm saying is this. I understand.
They found their newest rating.
And don't get me wrong. You know what's going to end up happening? In 2 years, just like Sea of Thieves, in 2 years, they're going to fill that game with content, and then it'll spike back up again, and then we'll go, Mooch, you were wrong, Mooch, you were wrong. Yeah, I go in the front yard, the backyard,
the basement now.
It's going to be a raid.
I love slow-mo. Slow-mo's on top.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be massive, right? You're going to be able to fight the yard across the street.
Exactly.
Right?
You know,
and it's gonna
you're going to ride bees into
an
air raid against other
be
enemy
bees,
encampments.
by the way.
Hey, Slow-mo, you get small going to the basement
bro.
and you find that $100 bill that your dad was looking for about 2 years ago.
It's the DLC, yeah. Again, that goes with the problem with releasing half-finished games. I mean, nobody seems to see it, but like, what games recently?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, what games recently that they've released? Even it looks like Halo Infinite isn't going to be finished at launch. You know, so I mean, at what point do we just go, Microsoft's bad? You know, like you can't just because you have Game Pass doesn't mean that you can release half-finished products. It just doesn't work that way.
Destiny looks better than your Halo preview. That's what pissed me off.
The good news is 343
better than the Halo that they showed me.
343 continues to be a Bungie cover band, man. Now they're trying to turn Halo into a games as a service, and whatever. It is what it is. But like, we'll have to see how it turns out.
They need to take 343 off of Halo.
What are they gonna do with them? They just like, dude, it's not even just 343. It's like they've got 2 or 3 other studios like contracted to build this, and like one that built the Saints Row 3 remaster or whatever, a remake, and then another team that did Skybox or whatever the hell they are. It's like they got these studios that aren't even top tier studios helping build Halo. Like,
and then Microsoft got a studio that all they do is drink and they don't make no games. You know what's the name of that?
Man,
wow.
Yeah, that's all they do is party.
That 343 doesn't actually like 343 relies on a large number of contractors and not full-time actual 343 employees. So what ends up happening with contractors is that before the game launches, like as soon as it hits gold, a good number of those contractors get laid off.
Yeah.
And they know that. And then once the game launches, then the rest of the contractors get laid off. And when they decide to work on their next game or their next project, they add in more contractors.
Right.
When you're relying on so many contractors, I've seen it before. I've seen it where people someone who is a contractor is working on code, working on in the technical field, and they don't put as much pride in their work when they know that there's no permanent job at the end of this. They just want to get it on their resume. Hey, look, I've worked on this game, so I can go somewhere else and maybe I can get a permanent position.
Well, you put Halo.
They
on
don't
your
do that
resume.
in Japan. They don't do that in Japan.
You put Halo on your resume, and people are like, "Oh, damn, you worked on Halo," and as soon it's going to be, "Ew, you worked on Halo." You know
exactly.
What I mean?
It's like that stuff catches up with you in time, and a lot of the reviews coming out from people who work there or currently working there, used to work there. Yeah, they're talking about how, like, the previous person, like you there's no continuity going over. Like, we were always asking, well, how did they do so well with the Halo 4 campaign, but the Halo 5 campaign sucked? How is it
that
the
one solid team at that time?
Yeah. There was the
not only
people
that, but
who
it was
did
funny
the campaign don't work there no more. That's why.
like I was like so people were in a thing with Phil Spencer, I guess, on Xbox Live talking about Halo 5 in the campaign. He wasn't happy. He goes, that was supposed to be totally different when they showed it to me, blah blah blah. Like, he was like, I don't understand. There were like walking levels or whatever, like where there's literally nothing. You're walking and talking.
How does he not know what they're going to show?
Right.
Like,
and that's why I said what I said. Ain't nobody down there putting their foot down.
Well, I said
that's what I said. What I said.
Yeah, I said that a long time ago when we were on Brap and everybody when we were talking about the last show, the May show. I made that argument. I said, well, Phil Spencer definitely sees what's going on in these shows, and people were telling me, no, they got other people to see it. Phil Spencer don't have to see everything. He don't have to micromanage everything. I was like, you're the head of you're literally VP of Xbox. You definitely seen what they're going to show.
I mean, so who's to blame? Like, what is your guys' thoughts? If they put an unfinished Halo, let's say it scores the lowest the Halo's done. I mean, maybe it'll get an 80. Maybe it could go lower. I don't know. I mean, it's Halo. The name itself.
Phil gotta go. Phil gotta go.
But what happens if they release
80, dude?
Bonnie Ross gotta get up out of there.
Yeah, like guys, honestly, I think Slow-Mo nailed it. I've been saying it for a long time. We've had 3 presentations now for Halo Infinite, okay? And Bonnie Ross is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I always thought she was kind of a weak link anyway.
She's got to fall on that sword and get up out of here. This game doesn't deliver. She's the one running the show.
Yep.
All the reviews talk about how upper management is mismanaging this. Yep. I look at certain things. They're talking about how for a full month they couldn't make any updates to the game, to the build of the game. That's mismanagement. When your tools don't work, when the build is broken because people aren't managing the staff correctly, all the reviews say, hey, it's talented people here. But talented people can't make a game with no direction or very little direction.
Bunch of
you either have to take the game off of 343, or you get rid of the leadership and you completely revamp how the leadership works. That's the only way to fix it. Because if not, it's just
like a game I know.
It's like Indians
you need to
running
get rid of 343 and bring in Crisis. If this bomb, get Crisis.
I think
get Team Crisis. They're looking for something.
A lot of people in the chat are saying that 343.
I'm gonna have to bounce too, man. It's like I didn't notice what time it was.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Well, it is after the 9 o'clock hour. It's well after the 9 o'clock hour. I apologize because I kept everybody here on.
We got into it.
We did. I was gonna say all the guys that gotta go are the ones that were kept going. I was like, well, I guess we're good to go.
And I got mad.
All right,
always a pleasure. Plus, that was a great rant, Sir X-Man. One for the ages. Good stuff. Appreciate all you guys. I gotta take off though, and I'll catch you guys later. Good stuff.
I appreciate that.
All right, crap.
Later, everybody.
I'm gonna. I believe he says here. I'm gonna a couple super chats, and then we'll do a wrap up here. TEZ3 says, "I'm almost drunk, Mooch. Monday, I'm calling Jim Ryan to bring CrossFire PlayStation Plus. TEZ83 on PSN. Thank you. I appreciate that." Shout out to him. And then the great Marty Bison, who says, 2 streams. What an upgrade, Mooch. I appreciate that, Marty Bison. And he also said, you guys are still live. That's great. I appreciate it. Marty Bison, you guys have all been fantastic. Great panel. Amazing audience. Guys, I appreciate the dual audiences, by the way. It's almost like I'm performing at 2 different, centers in New York City. This is fantastic. There's not many people that can end up doing that. So, you guys, outstanding show. Great show. I'm gonna go ahead and do a reverse here. I see XBot had to leave too, so I'll do the XBot and Crap Gamer at the end there. But let me start with Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man, absolute honor to have you here with us tonight, buddy. I know that you've because of work stuff, you've been in a bit of pain, but you still were able to make the show, and it's great to have you, buddy. Let people know where they can find you on Twitter.
Sir X-Man on Twitter, or Sir X-Man1 if you type it in with their little email thing, whatever they got. I forget.
Perfect. I got it on screen.
You can find me on Sir X-Man1 on Twitch whenever I decide to stream. It's usually Sunday nights. We have Sunday Night Fight Night. Me, K Mega, Predator, and a few more people that you guys know, and some people that you don't know. We go on forever. We start talking real deep crap after about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I'm just hanging out with Mooch and Xbot, who left, and catch me playing golf with Xbot sometimes on my stream on Twitch. And that's pretty much it. That's all I do.
Appreciate that, Sir X-Man.
And hang out.
You. Always good to hang out with you, brother. I appreciate that. And then I got my buddy here,
Sorry,
I
got mad.
No, hey, listen, it's called Crossfire. It's not called Kumbaya. It's fine, buddy. And then I got Crispy Bomb. Crispy, always good to have your take, buddy. Honestly, I got to tell you something. Even though me and you seemed like we were going back and forth, I got to be honest with you. A lot of stuff you said tonight, Crispy, I kind of agreed with you. I just think that it was different takes of opinion, but you got some great points. And Crispy, I can't wait until you come back on the show again, buddy, because I really like your back and forth on the topics we discussed. Crispy, let people know where they can find you, and I look forward to you coming back on soon.
Mooch, much respect, salute to you, sir, and thank you for having me on. I mean, it's been a while, and I love your content, dude. We always have disagreements, but at the same time, we can respect each other.
Absolutely,
and that's what it comes down to. We're gamers at the end of the day.
Yes.
And we can have our gripes about whatever gaming console we prefer, but I have played on PlayStation for almost 20 years in my life.
Yep.
I just want them to give me some multiplayer, please.
That's a fair request. That is a very fair request. I'm right. Listen, if you're in that line, if you turn around, I'm right behind you. I agree.
Facts.
Multiplayer exclusives. SOCOM. Let's go, baby. Give it to me. I was hoping for it the other night. I was really hoping for it. But Godfall, I'm going to say, button mashers choice, because I feel like it is going to be very button mashy.
It could be.
It's going to have a little elements with the shield and everything else. So, I mean, I wanted to see different characters. I wanted to see a little multiplayer, but they showed gameplay. So I'll give them that. That's at a 7. It's not at a 6 or 5. It's at a 7. They showed the gameplay, and I appreciate that. But it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter. You can find me on the next podcast tomorrow night, 7 p.m. You can find me on Retro Renegade, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
And next week, not this week, this upcoming week, next week, you'll find me on Breakfast and Boom.
Nice, Crispy. Shout out to Brian Baker. I know you know Delirium Blades too, Crispy. He's like, Crispy, he goes, these are outros, not another segment. I thought that was pretty funny from Delirium Blades.
Well, you know, I was told to F off, so I had to bring it in there.
No, I don't blame you, Crispy. Shout out to Doggy Dog 420, who's an outstanding VIP, Mooch Maniac. He's like, thanks for having Crispy on, Mooch. Absolutely. Crispy's always welcome on the show. And let me go to my next guest here, Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, honestly, man, I got to tell you, dude, it is just, for me personally, it's a treat when you're on the show, dude, because when you're on here, you're entertaining. I got to say 98% of the time, it might even be up to 99 now. I agree with everything you say, dude. I'm just on the same wavelength. So it's outstanding to have you here. Let people know where they can find you, and I can't wait till you're on the show again.
Hey, but look, I love to be the agent of chaos on Crossfire every now and then. So like anytime you want to invite me, just let me know. Great job, panel and chat. And if you guys want to check me out, you can catch me on Twitter with the same name, Slow-Mo Backslap, but as well as my YouTube channel, which I talk about games of all platforms, whether they're indie or AAA, doesn't matter. I think my next video is going to be about Valve and Obsidian, the history of Obsidian. So look for that probably tomorrow, I think. Ish. I don't know. I've been tired. I've been working hard. But yeah, again, great show, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Appreciate that, Slow-Mo. And then I got my buddy here, Gaming Forte, who was extremely loud in the beginning of the show, and then he kind of tapered off at the end, but that's because Forte, as well as Slow-Mo, is making video after video after video. And I'll be honest with you, thanks to Slow-Mo and Forte, they've kind of put a boot in my ass, literally getting me going. So I'm going to have a video out by the end of this week, and hopefully Monday at the latest. But Forte, That's videos, what I like to hear. Right? You guys are kicking ass, taking names, though. I'm just trying to keep up. You guys are amazing. And Forte, you're doing an outstanding job, dude. Always entertaining. Love to hear what you got to say, man. And let people know where they can find you. And thank you for being here tonight.
Oh, no. Yeah, no problem, man. It's I was thinking the same thing, but the one thing that I always appreciate about Crossfire is when you have guests that can carry a show without you having to always
Facts.
have to
yes.
put in your. And that's the one thing about this show is like, as I was listening, a lot of this stuff was already being said that I was going to say, and I'm like, I don't even have to say anything. Slow-Mo got my back. Slow-Mo always there when I need him. But yeah, this was another amazing show. So shout out to all the guests that were on the show, man. Crossfire is not the same without the guest, and
Fact.
That's the one thing we definitely appreciate the most. But check us out on YouTube. It's Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube and Twitter. Check me out on Primetime Gaming on Mondays with Boom at 8 p.m. Me and Slow-Mo, we do our show Tuesday. We actually came up with a day. That's when me and him go live every Tuesday. We alternate between channels. Last week it was on his channel, so if you didn't catch that live stream, check it out over there. Amazing support that we've been getting over there. This week it will be on my channel to determine on what we're going to talk about, but I guess Monday we will find something because something always happens on Monday. And
we won't have too many topics by the time Tuesday show up.
By the time Tuesday show, it's going to be too much stuff to talk about. And then Basement Radio podcast on Wednesday nights. Myself and Slow Mo are part of that cast with Enrique, B Money, and everybody else. And you already know about Crossfire. And then Scumcast. Love Ash and Luca. Even if I'm not on there every week, that show is like a great way to end the week. So make sure you always tune into my man, Myth the Legend, Ash and Luca, and everybody else in them on that show. So appreciate it, Mooch. Let's tie this up and get back to it next week.
Absolutely, man. And I want to say thank you again. And, one thing Forte said that was very true is, there's going to be a lot of people that listen over the course of the weekend. I really do value the audience and the chat very much as I appreciate the panel. It's not the same without you guys, and I'll do a little promo at the end, but I want to reinforce what Forte said. An outstanding chat tonight. I appreciate all of you guys doing what you do. And then I'll do the quick little outros for these guys. Xbot448, who's got next podcast on tomorrow at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern time. He does that all the time, every time. Do check out the information that's on the screen right there. And then our buddy here, Crap Gamer Reviews, who's got his reviews up, and he's doing a video or two a day. And guys, I will do a little promo here as well. Guys, take a look, please, at the bottom of the screen. Take a look at this YouTube channel. MNC Show, the MNC Morning Show is back. We started last Sunday. We are back again at 11 a.m. Eastern time this Sunday on my channel. So please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell, and let's get Mooch over 10,000 for 2020. It's a small thing to do during the year. It's not a hard thing. I think you waste about a half of a calorie clicking subscribe. It's not that much work, guys, I promise. That being said, I want to say thank you to everybody.
Baby.
And we'll be back next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Crossfire will be back. Guys, thank you again. Thanks to the panel, the chat. Everybody, game on. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Peace.